Hello, all my lovelies, and welcome to another weekly pick a card reading. Today's weekly pick a card is going to be all about which area of life do you need to be focusing on most at this time. Sometimes we can put all of our energy into one particular area of life and not even realize that that's going to get us completely off of the spiritual path that we're meant to be on at that time, or is going to make us miss other growth and opportunities that Spirit's trying to bring in. So hopefully through today's pick a card reading, you guys can narrow down and figure out which area of life really deserves your commitment at this time and really should be prioritized, as number one at the top of everything else. So here in a little bit, I will flash an image of the cards, and I can't wait to meet you guys there. Love you all. See you down in the comments. Hey, Pile One, can't wait to get into your reading, see what Spirit has in store for you. I had to open up the windows because I was burning some incense because I normally do that as I shuffle through the piles and get the energy cleansed, but it was getting so cloudy in here. So I hope you guys don't pick up on some of the noise that's going on outside. There's literally a house being built right across the street. I can hear an airplane right now. But we'll try and get through this despite the noise. Let's take a look at the card topper you all gravitated towards. And this is from my Starseed deck. It's all blue except for this, like this figment, almost like a ghost here. Okay, on the back it says abundance. When your heart's intention is to serve humanity, doors of abundance naturally open. So it seems like you all are supposed to be focusing on manifesting something at this time. We'll see what area of life that's supposed to be in, maybe second house, eighth house type of stuff. Maybe it has to do with finances, maybe emotionally. Actually, let's take a roll of the die. See if we can narrow this down. Do you guys hear that truck outside? Okay. Oh, okay. So we've got Mercury in Cancer in the fifth house. So Cancer is the sign of the mother and of emotional nurturance, and the fifth house is the house of our creations, which also includes our children, but also just our creativity, our inner child, our personal joy space. It's the house of fun. With Mercury there, that's kind of bring me back to this state of mind that this abundance card was talking about. Changing your thought patterns and your mindset in regards to something that you're wanting to mother or nurture in order to help bloom or grow or to create. So it could be some sort of creative project or endeavor that you're embarking on. It could have to do with your children or becoming a parent. But really, it seems like it's all going to start with this mindset, kind of like The Secret, the theory on The Secret. What we think, we create. What we think and say ends up becoming reality if we say it with enough intention, if we really believe what we're saying. So it seems like there is a blockage to your abundance, or there has been lately maybe, because there is this hesitation to really believe that you can achieve what it is you're after. There's this little voice inside of you that's like, but I don't know if that could really happen for me. And so that's kind of what Spirit's wanting you to focus on is your mindset, your thought patterns. And maybe not just in this area. Maybe this changing of the thought patterns is going to be most noticeable because it's going to bring some things into your 3D physical reality that have to do with this abundance and this creation, this inner joy. But I'm also hearing that this is like across the board. This affects other areas of your life more than you realize. And it's kind of the cause of a lot of personal issues that you've had across the board in all areas of life. So I'm hearing from Spirit that if you can really focus on managing your thought patterns, being very aware of what you are thinking at all times, you're going to notice a theme. And just becoming aware of it is going to really help you manage it and then kind of shift gears or turn the wheel in the direction you want to take it. It'll start as something really conscious that you feel like you're really having to keep up with and think about all the time, being conscious of it, but then it becomes a habit and it becomes a pattern. And then you're kind of unconsciously doing it. But okay, let's take a look at some of the tarot cards and then we'll look at the oracles. Okay, from my tarot deck that I created, we have the Spiritual Growth of Mentality card. Perfect, right? We have the Prince of Hearts, which is like the Knight of Cups, and it is in reverse. Oh, wow. We have the World card. This is Saturn energy. And then we have Nine of Cups. So we've got two cards kind of talking about the emotions here, the Prince of Hearts and the Nine of Cups. So it's interesting because it seems like what this whole idea of the mindset that Spirit's wanting you to focus on. It's not even necessarily that you don't have the things that you want yet. For some of you, I feel like you already have all the things that you want physically, you know, the type of job you want, the type of money that you want, your bank account, the type of house, but you're frustrated because you're not understanding why your emotions haven't caught up to that reality. It's almost like I'm seeing like a puzzle where you're like, what am I not getting? What have I not figured out? Why to the outside world and even to myself looking in from the outside, does my life look great? But yet I feel off. I don't feel great. You know, like what do I do with that? Whereas before I feel like you kind of solved your issues by, you know, oh, I want to, you know, have this particular job. And, you know, I'm feeling sad because I don't have that job. Then you would get that job and then you'd feel happy. Or, oh, I'm sad because I want this. Well, I'll go get that now. I feel happy. And I feel like that pattern's worked for you for a long time. Works for most of us. But now you're kind of in this life stage where it's like that's no longer working. You feel like you know what you're lacking. You go and you get it. And then there is no change in your emotional system. And, you know, I kind of feel that you're a little bit freaked out. So Spirit's walking you through a stage of internal abundance. I feel like you have the physical abundance kind of mastered, but it's this world of internal abundance that that really needs to be prioritized for you at this time. Your mental health, your emotional health, feeling emotionally well. But not only that, I'm seeing with the World card that this is something that will require effort. Okay, it isn't just about discovering what you're feeling. Or just kind of nurturing yourself to feel better. Of course, it includes that as well, but this also takes some like tangible, tough work. So for some of you, it could be, you know, making yourself read certain books, watch certain documentaries, making certain changes to your day-to-day habits. Like if you've figured out that, oh, meditating really helps me a lot, then this is about now prioritizing that daily meditation or the journaling session, or maybe it's that exercising, maybe it's that you know that exercising, going on long walks tends to put you in a better mood. Okay, so I've got to force myself to go and do that. I'm carving it into my daily agenda. So it is going to take actual, tangible, hard work to walk through this. I also see, if you notice in this World card, this woman is pregnant, and we do have Cancer and 5th house energy here. So for a lot of you, I do think it's about manifesting a pregnancy, manifesting a life in which pregnancy is even possible for you, or for some of you, Spirit's actually trying to encourage you towards the route of pregnancy and parenting. For some of you, there seems to be a resistance. And I feel like it's the same group of people that I feel like I've talked to you guys in other piles before. I've heard this same message where you have a resistance towards becoming a parent, but it's actually from this lack mindset, this belief that you don't have enough abundance in your life or within your own self to possibly be able to nurture and create another life. Like, no, that's just not an option. That would be terrible for me. And Spirit's coming through to say, you know, as you prioritize this shift in your mindset, you're going to realize how abundant of a person you are energetically, emotionally, and you are going to want to go in that direction. But for some of you, that's something that's 10 steps ahead of what we're talking about today. But let me read you guys this Spiritual Growth Mentality card. It's in reverse. It says, inability to recognize the spiritual purposes of your relationships, the soul contracts made before birth, and the negative relationship patterns you were meant to break and uproot in this lifetime. Failing to understand that pain and trauma is meant to show you growth, wisdom, and unconditional love, and clear the past life karmas. This is associated with the 11th house, as well as the sign of Libra and Neptune. And Neptune is a planet that's all about illusion, fantasy, illusion. It can even be about deception. With Neptune, it's very hard to understand what's real and what's not. So I feel like there is this dryness within you all that picked this pile. Something's not clicking. This puzzle piece you're working on just isn't coming together, and you don't know why. And Spirit's coming through to say it has everything to do with this emotional abundance. I think for a lot of you, you don't have a whole lot of relationships in your life, and you made that decision consciously. And it's from this sort of lack mindset within your own energy. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough emotions, enough time to dedicate myself to so many different people. Like, I prefer to just kind of be on my own, where I don't have to worry about this give and take kind of thing that a relationship is. And Spirit's saying that's why you're feeling off. Some people did come into this lifetime to learn how to pull away, to learn to be in solitude, to be alone, to create, boundaries. But not everyone did. And you guys happen to be in a group that incarnated with the purpose of actually trying to understand relationships on a more profound level, like to get down and dirty with the relationships, to throw yourself in, like to jump in the water. So this is kind of why, there's a lot of books, even a lot of great YouTube videos you can find where, let's say, maybe there's a famous YouTuber that talks a lot about how them pulling away, going alone, being on their own, really like connected in their life purpose, changed everything, healed them so much, made them feel so much better. And I know that that's their story, and that's their truth. So it's not that they shouldn't upload those videos, but I think a lot of people may watch that video and kind of view it as, oh, this is a one size fits all solution. If this worked for them, that's also what's best for me. So I'm going to do that too. And Spirit's, I don't know why they're talking to me about all this. Maybe this has to do with some videos, documentaries, books you've read for a while. But that may not work for everyone. It worked for that person because their soul, on a soul level, their soul knows that's what they came into this lifetime to do. So when they do that, when they isolate themselves, when they're all alone, their soul feels at peace, it clicks, it feels right, they feel fulfilled. Okay, but that's because that was a part of their purpose in this lifetime. That's why it feels fulfilling. But when you go and do that, the reason it doesn't feel fulfilling to you, the reason something feels off, is because it's not a part of your soul's purpose. And so Spirit's saying, like, we can't necessarily look to other people's books, other people's personal story times, or motivational videos as a one-size-fits-all solution for us. Yes, it worked for them, but we have to also remember, and it's fine for us to try out things, right? But if we try something out and we don't feel right, it's because our soul is there to guide us. Our soul's letting us know, like, hey, we need to be over here in this direction. And so, yeah, Spirit's really wanting you to get more in touch with your gut, your emotions, your soul, and allow it to guide you. If something feels not right, not fulfilling, then try out something new. Go in another direction. You came into this lifetime to achieve emotional fulfillment through good, healthy relationships, but to also not be too scared to try out relationships, see if they work. If they don't, okay, fine, then let's pull away and go in another direction. Let's start a new relationship with this person, or a new friendship here, there, whatever it is. But that's going to really help solve this dilemma for you. But yeah, your focus right now needs to be on abundance, on your ability to create what you want to create, on your belief that you can create what you want to create, on your ability to believe that you have enough energy. And if you don't, you know how to create more. You have enough time. And if you don't, you know how to create more without having to cut things out of your life. You know you are strong and powerful enough to create and expand in the ways that you need to or that you want to. Okay, let's look at the oracle cards. All right, we've got this woman here who just looks stressed to the nines. Look at all the sticky notes everywhere, the thunderstorm outside. Okay, the saint you all have is Saint Gaudentius, card number 41. Then we have full moon in Sagittarius. It says, look at the bigger picture. And sun in Libra, which says harmony. So we've got two cards here talking about Libra energy. Libra rules the 7th house, which is the house of marriage, long-term one-on-one relationships, and committed partnerships with others. You've got the sun in Libra there, harmony, feeling at peace. Your ego really, it receives a lot of joy, gets a sense of pride when it's able to create harmony in relationships, when it's able to show itself, that prove to its own self, like, look, I can be a great boyfriend or girlfriend. I can be a really great friend. I'm an amazing brother or sister. I'm an amazing parent. I'm an amazing spouse. I'm an amazing, employee or whatever. That's where your joy comes in, is when your soul is able to see that you have pursued and created an amazing relationship with someone else. It doesn't have to just be romantic either. I'm talking kind of all across the board. Full moon in Sag, look at the bigger picture. And we've got this arrow here kind of pointing the direction that life needs to go. Like, where is the arrow ultimately supposed to land? In 20, 30 years from now, where is it that you're wanting to land? Who exactly are you hoping to become? And are you doing right now in your life what you're supposed to do to set you up at that spot? Or are you kind of negating those things and just kind of hoping that you're going to end up there, or just kind of being in denial about the fact that in order to end up where I want, I've got to start now. I've got to find that trail now and start carving it. Because I think for all of you, I do think you guys know where you want to be, and you do want to be in happy, fulfilled relationships. Ideally, you do think it would be nice to, be happily married, or have a lot of great, deep, meaningful friendships, or be really close with your family, or, maybe have kids of your own. But some of you kind of are too stuck in the details of right now. Kind of like, oh, well, I don't have time to think about this. I need to focus on this right now. And Spirit's actually saying, for you right now, the focus, the priority needs to be on your mindset of abundance and your belief that you can create what it is you want, and putting that into practice. Going past your limits a little bit, trying some new things. Now, this saint, I need to actually look at the book to see who he is, what he's here to help with. He was an instructor of young priests and an evangelizer. His card signals maturity and achievement of your objectives. This goes really, really well with the World card, which is Saturn energy, which is all about maturity. So this is kind of the saint that's here to assist you during this time, assist you in this leveling up, this new stage of maturity that you're meant to reach. For some of you, I feel like you are supposed to be teachers for others in some sense, maybe a manager that's above others, or an actual instructor or teacher. Maybe you're supposed to do something online that's kind of spreading information, teaching others something. We do have Mercury here, which is about communication. So I feel like a lot of you are supposed to kind of use your voice and connect with others in a personal way. I feel like people are supposed to kind of look up to you for your knowledge, for your wisdom. But a really important part of stepping into that craft or that legacy that you're in is understanding relationships. Because if you were to give me, or actually, this is really in any industry. Okay, I'll give you the example of my dad. My dad is a musician. Or when I was born, he was strictly a drummer. Now, as he's gotten older, he's kind of gone into all different areas. Like, he'll produce music, he sings, he plays guitar. But when I was born, up until I was like 10, 11 years old, he was strictly a professional drummer. My mom didn't work. So our entire family income, which was my mom, my dad, and 4 siblings, was provided by my dad. So I'm not talking about a drummer that just kind of does it for fun on the weekends or as a side thing. This was his career. And we started out with not much money. Like, when my parents married, they were, pretty sure they were on food stamps. We lived in a trailer. Money was tight. My parents were just kind of simple, humble people. And as my dad kept working and working, he really started carving his own way into the industry. And he started having a lot of people that kept calling him back and wanting to work with him again. He was working with a lot of different bands, drumming on records for people. Now, he worked strictly in the Christian music industry, but he worked with a lot of prominent Christian artists, and he was traveling by the time I was 8 years old, no, 7, he was traveling all the time because of people just liked him. And I remember my mom and my dad telling me my whole life, or actually my dad said this to me. He said, "Do you know why people call me back for gigs? Why people keep booking me?" And I was like, "No, why?" And because he was always hard on himself as a drummer. He's a perfectionist, but he kind of, the way he said it to me is he always knew he wasn't the best. There were other drummers in his kind of group of people who were technically much better than him. But people kept wanting to work with my dad instead, even though this other guy or these other guys were technically much better or much more talented. They wanted to work with my dad. And my dad told me that it was because they enjoyed working with him more. He was a joy to work with. People were able to connect with him in a way that they couldn't with the other drummers. My dad was charming. He was happy. He was easy to work with. He didn't complain much. And so even though he wasn't as good of a drummer, people wanted him. And I'm telling you, he traveled the world. And my mom said the same thing. She said, there's a lot of other drummers out there who are much better than your dad, but your dad's kind of, the edge that your dad has is that he's so likable. And so that's kind of a whole other element to this life focus area that you guys are supposed to commit to at this time. A lot of you are meant to be kind of experts in something and teach something to others. But the point I was trying to make with that whole analogy is there's lots of experts out there. There's lots of knowledgeable people out there. The thing that makes someone in particular stand out, that makes people say, well, I want to go listen to them teach this to me. I want to go sit in on their lesson. I want to promote this person and give them that opportunity, is the likability factor, which has everything to do with relationships, your ability to connect with people emotionally and understanding what that means. Okay, that's supposed to be your edge. That's how you're going to stand out from this large group of people who are kind of trying to carve their own way into whatever field or industry you're going into. And so Spirit's kind of saying that just as I don't know if they're trying to show you, like I feel like a lot of you are very resistant to this whole emotional connection with others, just like in general. I think it really feels kind of foreign to you and kind of, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really want to try that. But Spirit's really trying to, it's almost like they're trying to tell me everything they can to kind of get you on board with this plan, to remind you of your purpose and why you signed up here, to get you out of this fear mindset. If you're going in the direction you're meant to go in this life, you don't feel this sense of fear because your soul is at ease. Your soul's like, okay, we're on the right path. They turned down the right street. We're going in the right direction. It's when we're not on the right path, when we're negating our path, that this type of energy sets into our lives. So yeah, for you guys, it's about your mentality, your abundance, using the secret, manifesting things, expanding yourself, but it's specifically within your emotions, your emotional mindset, your emotional connections. So I'm going to leave you guys here, but I do hope I see you down in the comment section below and we can have a little chat down there. Let me know what you thought of the video, what resonated, what didn't, and I look forward to seeing you all in next week's Pick a Card reading. Love you guys. Bye. Hey Group 2, welcome to your reading. Can't wait to take a look at the cards, see what Spirit wants to say about which area of life you are meant to focus on at this time, commit to at this time. Let's take a look at the card topper you all gravitated towards. Very interesting. It's like the clouds are forming in the shape of a butterfly or some sort of animal. On the back it says guidance. You are not alone. You are guided by masters and teachers of the highest realms. Beautiful. So I feel like for you all at this time, the focus needs, I'm getting a wall of pride kind of building up here that Spirit's wanting you to work on kind of chipping away at. I think for a lot of you that gravitated towards this pile, you went through a lot at a young age that kind of forced you to be the adult in the situation you were in, or your parents may have put you on some sort of pedestal as like the adult of the household. And it feels like your parents and the people around you starting at a young age, kind of, they may have said things to you like, oh, well, you're just more mature than the other kids, you can handle more, or wow, that's great guidance. You may have been put in a position to guide your parents or the elders in your life. And so it kind of subconsciously put in you this idea that I have to guide myself. I have to be my own leader. I know what's best. There's really no one around me that's more mature than me or more, I don't want to say intelligent, but I don't really know how else to explain it. I feel like because of the life you had, the family you were put into, that may have been the case, that really, for real, you may have been the only one at the time able to see situations for what they were, give advice, good advice. But so that gave you kind of this sense of pride in yourself, which is good, but it's almost kind of hardened over time to where now there's this lack of trust for really anyone else but yourself. And it seems like at this time, Spirit's trying to bring in, they're trying to send you advice through other people, guidance through other people. They're also trying to send in, new friendships, new people in your life that truly are maybe wiser than you, or on equal footing with you, to where you actually can put your trust in them to help lead you in the right direction. But there seems to be this inner resistance, this sense of pridefulness or just distrust that you can really take in what they're saying. Should you really take in what they're saying? And so Spirit's saying, yes, you can. I think they're wanting you to kind of become a part of maybe some network circles, network groups, or I'm getting lots of like friendships, teacher, student sort of relationships, or it could even be like online mentors, videos and things you watch online, and it just being hard for you to really take in that guidance that you're being given. But Spirit's saying, look, we're sending you these little things. We're sending you these little signs, but you first got to be able to trust. And the thing is this type of upbringing doesn't just lead you to distrust people, which really all of us, we shouldn't be giving our full trust to everybody. We're supposed to have a certain level of distrust with others until they've earned it. But what it does when it goes into this extreme is we have a lack of trust even in the universe, in God, in the spiritual realm. Maybe even a lack of trust that, does God really care about me or think about me? Probably not, right? I'm really just kind of out on my own. I've got to look out for myself, do my own thing, okay? And so Spirit brought you to this reading to let you know that that's having an effect on your security, I think, overall, because that would be really terrifying, really scary, because this world, I'm telling you, it's a crazy place, is it not? It's crazy out here. I hope that things are improving over the years, but sometimes it's hard to tell. And to feel on a subconscious level that you're truly out here on your own, completely on your own, no one to rely on but yourself, would be pretty scary. And Spirit's wanting to help break down that wall of fear within you, wanting to open you up to the love and the trust that's all around you, the guidance it can bring you, the assistance it can bring you. But let's take a roll of the die and we'll get more into this reading, see what else Spirit wants to say. All right, we have the moon in Leo, prideful Leo, in the 6th house. Okay, so the moon is, well, first of all, it's our own mother, our perception of our own mother. But it's also our kind of inner world, our thoughts, our who we are in private, in our own heads. That's kind of what the moon is. It also represents the nighttime, things that are kind of in the dark, not easy to be seen. Leo is a very prideful sign, and it's very individualistic, Leo is. And there's no zodiac sign that is negative or positive. Each one has a positive expression, a way that we can use that energy in a positive way, and a way we can use it negatively. So let me talk a little bit about both. So Leo is very individualistic. It's got great confidence, a great sense of pride in itself. It knows how to carve a path for itself, lead itself. There's this, when Leos feel good, they're just very secure people. They feel good about themselves. And that brings them a lot of power. Now, on the negative end, Leo can be very selfish, very self-centered, unable to empathize with others because it's only possible for them to see things through their own point of view, through their own perspective. That can be kind of a downside of the Leo energy. So I think that for some of you who gravitated towards this pile, I feel like your mom has this Leo energy. For some of you, it could be expressed in this more negative way, for others in the more positive way. But that your relationship to her, or how you viewed her, and whether you viewed her in a positive or negative way, it doesn't matter. That seems to be the stem, the source of this sort of, well, I've just got to rely on myself. I've just got to do things for myself. I'm out here on my own. That seems to be the source of this kind of subconscious mindset or belief that you've had, something to do with mom. Now, the sixth house, which also came up here, it's about our work life and our day-to-day responsibilities, our habits, as well as our health, our physical health. Is our body in good shape? The health of our household, is it organized? Is it well kept? The health of our bills, are they being paid on time? How does that look? Are we a good employee that's reliable, that shows up to work when we're supposed to? The sixth house is really a house of service because of that. The sixth house is like all the things that you do and you don't get any joy from it, but you can get a lot of sadness or depression from not doing it. So it's like you do it, you don't necessarily feel excited about doing it, but you're doing it because you want to avoid the kind of fear and depression and negative side effects that can come along when these areas of your life are neglected. It's not a joy to pay our bills, right? But oh my God, is it terrible when our bills get so far behind that, maybe we fall into bankruptcy, we lose our home. So we pay the bills not because we enjoy it, but because we need to avoid that negative outcome. Everything in the sixth house is like that. And Leo, the Leo energy that's here, Leo likes to be rewarded for what it's doing. Leo is the king, right? What does the king do? The king gets to set his own day. All the boring stuff the king doesn't want to do, he has people to do that for him, right? Like, he's the leader. He don't need to bother himself with the boring stuff. He can make his schedule to where he only has to do what he wants to do, what he enjoys doing. He's got other people to take care of the other things. So Leo in the sixth house can be hard because that's that king-like energy of, but I don't want to do that. But why do I need to do that? What do I get out of that? In this house where that's kind of the whole energy of the house, doing stuff because it has to be done, not because it's any fun. So there's some sort of guidance trying to come in for you all in relation to your daily habits, your health, or the health of like your household, your home environment, your money, your bills, or even who you are as an employee. That Spirit's trying to help guide you into repairing some things, doing some maintenance on some things, and realizing that it's okay to rely on others to help, to rely on others' advice, others' wisdom, and to also be of service to yourself, even in those dull, boring areas of life that you don't want to have to deal with. For a lot of you, I'm picking up on money stuff, but that doesn't need to be for everyone. For others of you, this has to do with your physical health. I'm feeling like money, finances, credit score, as well as physical health, or maybe some certain habits that may feel good in the moment, but catch up with you later. Okay, so maybe overspending, overindulging in certain foods or things, maybe kind of just wanting to be lazy each day. Like, I don't want to go on a walk or a run. I struggle with all this stuff because I'm a Leo sun, so I totally get it, and it's something I'm still struggling and working through. So I'm not preaching to you from a place of like I've got this figured out, because I'll be honest, I don't. As a Leo sun, it can be very hard for me to get myself to do things that just don't feel gratifying to me. Like, I don't like working out. I'd rather sit on the couch, watch a movie with my daughter, chill with my husband. I also don't like having to say no to the food I like to eat. Like sometimes, or even like keeping myself on a good eating schedule. A lot of times, like I'll skip breakfast and lunch without even realizing it. And then I'll get jittery and shaky because it's like, well, I've neglected my health today. I didn't eat, so now my blood sugar's dropped. And so then whenever I do go to eat something, it's ice cream out of the freezer or a bunch of cookies, and then I fill myself up on that, and then I'm good, right? So that's this Leo stuff that I'm talking about. We can be really bad to ourselves when we're living in that energy, because what I need to do is make myself eat, make sure I prioritize it, even if I'm not in the mood to, and then make sure that I'm eating something healthy, because I don't want to deal with the negative consequences later on, what that will mean for me. Okay, so I'm talking to you as someone who relates to these sorts of issues, as someone who also at a young age kind of had this mindset or this belief that, oh, I guess I've got life figured out better than some other people in my life. It looks like people kind of rely on me a lot, and it looks like I'm kind of, I'm out here and I've just got to solve my own problems, figure it out myself. And that can close us off to the wonderful advice, the people who do come into our lives who truly do know better, who do have advice to give. Okay, so yeah, this is a tough one because I relate to it a lot, but so I feel like I'm learning with you guys. But let's see what some of the other cards have to say. Let's look at the tarot. Okay, we have level 6, the merger from my tarot deck. We have 2 of Swords, beautiful imagery, huh? We have the 8 of Cups, and we have the Ace of Cups, and it's in reverse. Yeah, so 2 of Swords is about kind of, usually the 2 of Swords image on the card has a woman with 2 swords and she's holding them like this, kind of blocking her heart chakra. That is that wall of pride I've been talking about. Like, no, I'm keeping myself protected. I don't need anyone to get too close. Not really allowing yourself to get vulnerable with others, or just, yeah, having this wall of pride kind of built up over your heart chakra. But 2 of Swords can also be about kind of needing to make a choice and needing to make that choice using our own intuition, being guided, okay, receiving guidance from our own intuition, not necessarily our logic or our emotions, but our intuitive wisdom, which comes from what? God, the universe, source. This can be really hard to do when we have this subconscious belief that nothing out there in the universe is really looking out for us. Like, it's nice to believe, okay, but deep down, it's really just me here. So that's kind of what Spirit's wanting you to focus on, to make this decision to tap into your intuition, to start giving yourself opportunities to be shown that, hey, the universe is looking out for you. God is out here. There are ancestors, spirit guides. Like, there's something outside of this human realm that loves you and wants to help guide and take care of you and give you advice, help you make choices in your life. So, but this will be a conscious choice that you have to make, like the 2 of Swords speaks on. This isn't something that life's going to force upon you. Sometimes the universe will put us in situations where we have no option but to trust, but to give in, okay? But this is a situation where, no, the universe isn't going to interfere. It's really fully up to you if you want to take this journey or not. They're hoping that you will. They're hoping that you hear this call, but it'll be up to you. And the 8 of Cups card is about a man walking away from a lot of things in his life currently. Walking away from the things that he used to think emotionally fulfilled him, made him feel emotionally strong, but realizing one day that they just don't anymore. Either they don't anymore because he's changed and evolved, or they never truly did. It was all a facade that he was allowing himself to believe that these things emotionally fulfilled him. So for a lot of you, it's these habits I've been talking about, these 6th house habits, maybe kind of not being on time for things, not having a good schedule for yourself, neglecting your physical health, your financial health. For some of you, it has to do with these certain thought pattern, these certain values, I should say, certain values that you adopted at an early age that really never served you, but you thought they did. Maybe like this wall, this protective wall around your heart, this sense of pride, this belief that you can fully rely on yourself and you don't need anyone else, to help you. And yeah, kind of, and this Ace of Cups reversed kind of makes me think of this sort of dumping out of these cups. It's almost not even like you're just going to walk away from them, because that is a passive sort of move, right? For you guys, this is a dumping of the cups, like actually addressing each and every one of these cups and exposing them for what they are. For a lot of you, there are some conversations with some people in your life that need to be had so that these other people in your life can adapt to the changes that you are now making. Maybe it has to do with your beliefs going through a radical shift, your religious or spiritual beliefs, your ideology, certain values, different ways that you want to be treated from now on. For some of you, there could be a lot of boundaries you're going to be setting with family members or friends who have been very used to relying on you for a lot that maybe they shouldn't have been, but you kind of welcomed that in. And now you're kind of realizing, I need to set some boundaries. I can't keep getting this ego boost from helping people solve problems or deal with things It's really their job to deal with. So I feel like there are going to be a lot of, spirits wanting you to focus on this at this time, this area of your life. Your habits, the things that you do almost without thinking it, it's just like breathing for you because it's been so indoctrinated into you from a young age, and really addressing these things, making that choice to clear this stuff up and walk away from a lot. Let's read the merger card. Now in a typical tarot deck, this is the Lover's card, so it's Gemini energy. It's in reverse. It says not feeling ready for a lifestyle change, needing to make a lifestyle change, not ready to make a choice that will decisively alter the rest of one's life. Change is necessary soon. An inharmonious union, an immature or unfruitful union or partnership, an immature lifestyle, or immature or unloving lifestyle choices. This is associated with the descendant as well, the 7th house energy. So that's kind of like this Ace of Cups reversed. For a lot of you, you came to this reading already knowing, as I read that card, you know what relationship I'm talking about, okay? I think there's some relationships that haven't sat right with you for a while, particularly romantically. Feeling like a lot of you kind of know that the romantic partnership that you're in isn't the right one for you, can't evolve with you, but there's this fear of letting it go, or this fear of even giving the relationship an opportunity to grow by having the conversation, saying, hey, look, I am wanting to change this, that, and this. Are you willing to do that with me? Because if not, I've got to walk away. But if you want to make that change, then I'm here. So it's about not being passive aggressive in your actions either. Really owning up to the changes that you're making, addressing them with the people in your life. For some of you, I feel like there is, I kind of got pregnancy vibes from the first pile too, but for some of you, I feel like there is a pregnancy that you're already in, okay? So I'm not predicting future pregnancies for any of you who aren't pregnant. This is for those of you who came here and are already pregnant and are going through a rough time romantically with the partner of the child. I think some of you are contemplating terminating the pregnancy because you just feel so overwhelmed by everything that's going on. And of course, I can't sit here and give you guys medical advice. I'm not, your licensed therapist. All I want to say to you in regards to that is to reconsider the motives of why you're wanting to make that choice. And really find out if those motives are rooted in a fear of maturity, a fear of shifting your lifestyle. Okay, because, and this goes back to this whole thing I've been talking about, where there's this lack of trust in the universe and God to take care of you and to make sure that everything's going to turn out as it should be. Okay, so really focus on the next month or so, getting in touch, do your prayer sessions, do whatever it is that helps you connect with God, and really trust and believe, or try and teach yourself to trust and believe that you're not out here on your own. Okay, so if you are contemplating any sort of decision because, one, I believe that I'm out here on my own, that God, the universe, isn't really looking out for me, so I've got to make my decision with that in mind. And two, I'm terrified of kind of the responsibility of this lifestyle change and what it could mean. Or three, I'm not ready to have to give up the relationships and the habits in my life at this time that I'm accustomed to for the sake of this change. Okay, because that's a lot of it too, especially if it's, first kid, like, oh, you can't drink for 9 months. You might have outgrown a lot of your friends who aren't yet having kids, so I'm going to lose my friends too, or blah, blah, blah. So again, that's going to be for a select few of you, maybe just one. But I just want to say to you that to question those motives. Because if you came to this reading, there is a part of you that believes that there's something out there beyond yourself, beyond this earthly life, that things fall into place. And I also, again, I relate to this pile a lot because I've been in a phase of life like this before. I got my associate's degree back in college, just my associates, and after I graduated, I wanted to take a year off, come live in Brazil so I could learn Portuguese and work. I got a job out here teaching English. I had my own little, it wasn't even an apartment, it was like a room attached to someone's house here that I was paying. I had like a bed and a microwave and a bathroom. And I was so excited, and I had this dream of like, I want to work for the UN one day. I'm going to learn Portuguese, and I'm going to go into the Peace Corps, and maybe I'll get into politics. Like, you know, I was 20 years old, and I had my whole life ahead of me. And I didn't plan on getting married anytime soon, having kids anytime soon. I always said since I was little, I'm going to have my first kid when I'm 30. Well, just a few months, well, I think it was like 5 months into my stay here in Brazil, I ended up pregnant. And I was absolutely terrified. I was only 20 years old. I don't come from a family with a lot of means. My family's not poor, but, you know, at all. My parents aren't poor, but, you know, I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 8 kids. Okay, so even if my parents did make a lot of money, you split that up between 8 kids, and I'm the oldest. I'm 20, so everyone else is below that. My parents are still paying fully to take care of everyone beneath me. So, like, what am I going to do? And I'm not ready to get married. But if I have the baby and I don't get married and I go back to the US, this baby isn't going to have their dad with them. But if I stay here in Brazil, like, I'm not ready to stay in Brazil. I still feel like a kid myself. I want to do college. It was really, really scary. And because I did have this belief that I've really got to rely on myself. Like, there's no one else out here to rely on. And if I'm just relying on me, then the answer is I cannot, you know, how am I going to take care of this child? How am I going to have the means to do it? I don't have a college degree. I don't have work experience. So I definitely went through a phase of contemplating what I was going to do. Okay. And I ultimately went with my intuition, my own gut, and I didn't do it. And I was really scared. I was really terrified. But as you see now, as I look back 9 years later, I understand that God, the universe, was looking out for me, was able to guide me, was able to help me get to where I needed to get. And boy, am I so grateful now that I didn't make that decision just because I felt like I couldn't rely on anyone but myself, that I didn't make that decision without recognizing the fact that, you know what, people come in from all different places to help when it's needed, when it's necessary. So I know I went on a long rant there, but I just feel like there's 1 or 2 of you that are in that same spot that I was 9 years ago, and I really, really empathize with you all. And I'm not saying that for all of you, your journey is going to look exactly like mine, but I do feel that going with your intuition, getting in touch with your intuition, pushing yourself to grow, you know, focused on your own personal growth, not the physical or superficial things outside of you, always leaves you feeling fulfilled, or at least proud of your decision, proud of the decision that you made, regardless of the results that it gave you, regardless of maybe what you lost through those decisions. Like, knowing that you kept your integrity through what it was you needed to do means everything. Okay, so I just had to put that out there for you all. And if you guys want any more details on that, because obviously there's a lot more details to that part of my life than what I have time to give here, because we need to get through the other oracle cards, but I would be more than happy to open up to you guys about my experience in learning to trust the universe and how things turned out for me and all the details of that. So comment that below if you're interested. But let's look at the other oracle cards. This is about you all, right? Okay, so the Saint card we have is Saint Margarita. Beautiful. We have the Balsamic Moon card. It says, a time for healing. Oh, look at that. We've got the little girl kind of putting herself out on a limb, putting herself out there. We have Saturn in Virgo, which says isolation. Yeah. Okay, I want to look at the Saint card and its meaning real quick. So let's flip to that. Okay, so Saint Margarita spread the cult of the Sacred Heart of Jesus as amends for sins. I don't know what that means. But when you pull this card, it says effort and sacrifice for studies and commitment to profession. Interesting. So yeah, a lot of you, this is setting you up for your life purpose. And there may be, for some of you, you may already have kids, okay? And you feel like there's not maybe a way to kind of focus on your kids and your family, but also, you know, chase after this profession, this career that you've always wanted. I think a lot of you that came to this pile have certain dreams that you've kind of put on the back burner, or feel like you've kind of lost your chance at those. And Saint Margarita is here to say, look, no, with guidance and help from the universe, trusting your intuition, all these things are possible. You can still go after those things. You can still commit to those achievements that you want to make in the outer world. So it's really, and with the 6th house coming up here, it's really going to have to be a good management of your day-to-day responsibilities. If you can get that down, you know, a little daily planner carved out or whatever works for you, you're going to see that you do have enough time to carve in for, you know, this studying this or college that, you know, whatever it is. But I do see that Spirit's really wanting you to put yourself out there. We have a lot of cards here, this one, the merger, that are talking about the fact that it's time to put yourself out there again, to walk in a new direction, to leave some things behind, to go to the next level of maturity in your life, to make a big lifestyle change, to no longer be fearful of what that's going to mean. You know, obviously we lose things every time we gain something, we lose something else, we leave something else behind. But in most cases, it's for the better. You know, like when you get married, it means that your priorities are no longer just being a daughter to your parents. You're obviously not going to have as much time anymore with your parents. If you have younger siblings, then once you get married, your time's kind of pulled away from them because, you know, now your spouse becomes your priority, the family you're creating with them. Is it sad? Yeah, there's some nostalgia or there's a bittersweetness, I should say, that comes along with that, like realizing that, okay, I'm making this lifestyle change. There's some adjustments here. But overall, it's for the better. You're maturing, you're growing, you're expanding as a person. And that's kind of what is going on with you guys at this time. Spirit's trying to guide you, trying to give you these little inklings into the right direction, trying to get you to let go of some things, trying to get you to focus on healing some things. Because with the isolation card here as well, I see that a lot of you feel very alone in your struggles. So not only, you know, with this whole pride thing I've been touching on, the great thing about this sense of pride and this belief that, you know what, I've got to do it all on my own. I accomplish everything on my own. The great thing about that is that when you do accomplish something, you're like, damn, I did that all on that was all me. I freaking did it. Like, I can rely on myself. Like, no one else gets the glory for this but me, because I know that it was me that put in all that work. That feels great. But on the other side of the coin, what sucks about this kind of pridefulness or this belief that really you can only rely on yourself is that when you're struggling, you feel very alone in your struggles because you also don't believe in putting your struggles on other people. You become the type of person that doesn't ask anyone for help and doesn't expect to receive help from others. So when you're struggling, when there's things going on, you feel like you don't have the right to go to anyone for help with those, to open up. You also don't feel like you have anyone around you that could really help. Because remember, you believe that you are kind of the most mature in kind of the group of people that you're in and the life you were put in. So who the heck's gonna, like if I'm struggling, who's gonna help me? Because I'm always the one helping everyone else, giving everyone else advice when they're struggling. So there's no one around that I trust to really guide me through this. So there's this deep sense, this profound sense of isolation. So for some of you, there's certain decisions that you feel very alone in having to make, and Spirit's saying, don't make those decisions alone. Allow yourself to open up and receive some guidance, some insight, some thoughts, some ideas from other people. It will be more helpful than you think. But I see a big lifestyle change going on for everyone who chose this group that Spirit's trying to guide you into. Trust in the universe. Trust that there's something outside of yourself, outside of this earth, something spiritual that loves you deeply, that does watch out for you. That's going to make a huge difference for you all. Allow your guard to come down a little bit, to be a bit more vulnerable with others, to ask for help from others, and to take that good advice whenever you receive it, okay? I'm praying for all of you that chose this pile during this time. I know that big changes can feel really, really scary, right? But in you guys' case, this is a big change that's for the better. On the other side of it, you'll look back and be like, wow, am I really glad that I went in this direction, okay? So comment below, let me know kind of what resonated, what didn't. I really enjoyed connecting with you all. I really, really felt like I related to this pile a lot. Like I would almost love to be on a phone call. I feel like I could call you and just sit and chat for hours, but I know I have other piles to get through. So I'll leave you guys here and see you next week. Love you guys. Hey, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. Can't wait to see what Spirit wants to say to you, what area of life Spirit really wants you to commit to at this time and focus on. Let's start by looking at the card topper you all gravitated towards. Very cool looking, almost looks like an alien head or something, right? Okay, on the back it says meditation. It says take a moment to connect to Source through quiet, reflective meditation. Ooh, I'm getting lots of 12th house vibes. I feel like those of you who chose this pile need to focus on your solitude at this time, your aloneness, like kind of putting yourself in peace and quiet, detaching from the day-to-day realities a little bit, going into your own inner world and space, doing more activities that are just with you and are put you in a more meditative state, don't require a whole lot of thoughts, like maybe planting and gardening. Even washing the dishes can be a meditative action, especially when we're doing it without a video in front of us or a TV, but just kind of washing each dish. Even painting, listening to music, you know, so less of like maybe movies or reading things or talking with people, and more of these sorts of activities that are just you know, taking a long shower in the quiet, you know, praying, what else? Even making more time for sleep, you know, increasing your sleep schedule a little bit, saying no to a few of those invites, and prioritizing you time, I feel like is what needs to happen. But let's take a roll of the die and we'll get more into this reading with that. All right. We have Mercury in Libra in the 5th house. There was another group that had 2 of the same die come out. So interesting, because we're talking about meditation. Mercury is like the opposite of meditation. Mercury is like the active mind, the mind that's go, go, go. Let's go here, let's go there, let's do this, let's do that. Oh, and the die just moved to the 1st house. Okay, I don't know if it moved or I changed it, but now it's on the 1st house. So it was on the 5th, it rolled to the 1st. Libra is about one-on-one relationships. It's about our important, committed relationships with other people. Libra is where we kind of make compromises, adjust things for the sake of others, where we don't always get to do just what we want because we have to keep them in mind. And the 1st house is about the self, whereas the 5th house can be about our children, but also just our own creations, what we create all on our own without the help or involvement of anybody else. So I'm feeling a lot of conflicts actually going on with you guys at this time. A lot of conflicts in, well, but I want to do this and they want to do that. Well, but I've got to make time for this for them, but I'm also wanting to do that. Well, it feels like there's a lot of conflicts. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of like, almost like arrows whizzing past me in a bunch of different directions where you almost don't even know where to look. You don't know what to do. And Spirit saying, look, go into meditation. I'm telling you, if you can detach from these situations and make time, maybe daily, maybe just 10 minutes a day to go into your own inner reflective state, a peaceful state, it's really, really, really going to help you navigate through kind of the chaos at the moment, where I just feel like you're being pulled in all different directions. And so it's not that you're supposed to neglect your responsibilities, reject everyone. It's not that. It's more of what I'm hearing from Spirit is the solutions to your problems, to your conflicts, are much easier than you realize. And once you kind of take a step back, go within, calm yourself, it's like suddenly you're going to see the doorway you're supposed to go through. Whereas if you stay in that chaos and try and solve things in the midst of that chaos, you're always going to be blinded to that pathway you're supposed to take. So really, the major solution for you at this time is prioritizing your meditation, putting yourself in a meditative state on a daily basis, I think. Even if it's just for 5-10 minutes a day, it's going to help a lot, okay? Because I can see the whizzing, buzzing sort of energy all around. But let's look at the tarot cards. All right, we have the Laborer of Values. We also have the 10 of Hearts, the Happy Home, beautiful. The 4 of Swords. These cards are going together so perfectly. And the Lovers, this is Gemini energy. Wow. So we've got 2 cards here. This is kind of talking about marriage, right? And this is talking about the happy home and family. This is the married couple with the kids, okay? Whereas 4 of Swords is about someone pulling away so they can kind of heal and just get some peace and quiet. Like I'm seeing I'm seeing, and maybe it's not you guys necessarily. For some of you it is, but I'm almost seeing some of you like slamming your door and being like, I'm going into the bedroom. No one come in and bother me for 30 minutes. Please, for the love of God, like let me take a shower. Like I'm seeing you, it just feels really, really crazy. And it's not that anything bad's going on in your environment. Like I'm not seeing negative, dark energy or upheaval. Nothing like that. It just almost feels like this is day-to-day reality and life. I think for some of you, you are married and you also have children that are maybe young, still need a lot of your attention. Maybe both you and your partner work. So you got two full-time jobs between the both of you, plus all the kids and the kids' activities. Like it feels more like that sort of chaos, like just the natural rhythms of day-to-day life when we're in certain stages of life. And it does become chaotic and it kind of makes us feel on edge. And I almost feel like a lot of you think that it would be neglectful or selfish for you to say, I need X amount of time on my own, everyone stay away. Okay, it's almost like you feel a sense of guilt when you do that. But what I'm hearing from Spirit is that's actually going to be better off for everyone, not just you, if you can make time to prioritize that, to remember that you are valuable, that you are worthy of care. Because I feel like you guys are the type of group that tends to prioritize everyone else above yourself, or uses the problems and activities of other people as an excuse for you to neglect yourself, for you to not prioritize yourself, where you almost say it or think about it in a way of, well, I don't have a choice, like this has to be done, so I don't have me time, that's not going to happen. Because on a deep down level, okay, there is this internal belief that you aren't really worthy of being prioritized. And I think a lot of you know this, or maybe think you've already healed it, because what I'm seeing are past relationships where you clearly were not prioritized by the other person and you ended the relationship, or they did, and you talk about this to people like it's something that's been solved. Like, oh yeah, I was with that person or in that friendship and they, I don't know why I just let them walk all over me. I don't know why I allowed them to mistreat me. But you know what? I realized it one day and I ended it, and that's that. And I feel like you kind of have convinced yourself that you've solved this internal issue of I'm not worthy enough to be treated right. Or maybe you've solved one side of the coin where you know now how to make sure other people are prioritizing you. You've learned how to make sure that other people are treating you correctly. I feel like you did learn that from these previous relationships or life experiences, but you forgot about the other part of this equation, which is, do you prioritize yourself? Do you believe you deserve to be treated well, to treat your own self well? Okay? And so I feel like that's kind of what Spirit's wanting you to focus on, kind of fostering that relationship with yourself, being in love with the relationship you have with your own self. What's that phrase? There's some sort of phrase that's like, a happy wife, happy life. Okay, or there's another one that says something about mom, like if mom is taken care of, everyone's taken care of. And both of those phrases are kind of talking about, in order to receive the nurturance and the love from your mom, from your spouse, you have to make sure that they're also in a good place themselves. If mom's happy, everyone's happy. Okay, so mom has to take care of herself in order to take care of everyone else properly. It's like when you're on the airplane and they give you the mask tutorial. If the airplane's crashing and the masks fall down, they always show and they always say, put your mask on first before you start putting masks on your children or the other people that you love. You have to put yours on, otherwise you're going to be useless to help anyone else. And so you have to believe in the fact that you deserve that mask on first, so that you can be a better use to your environment, people around it. So this Spirit's wanting you to prioritize yourself, prioritize your alone time, and maybe commit to doing this for, let's just say, a month, okay? Because I think for some of you, you really think it's not possible. You really think it's not going to result in anything, positive for you anyway, so what's the use? This is just part of life. Life's crazy. I've just got to deal with it. Spirit's wanting to challenge you, have you test this theory and commit to doing this for a month, okay? Just a month, and just see how much better things get in your environment, how the chaos seems to die down, how you suddenly feel like you have more energy to give, more love to share. And not only that, but how your own confidence, your own inner joy is boosted, because now you're showing yourself how much you love your own self, because you want to spend time with yourself. You want to make sure that you are getting the sleep that you need, that you're having time to foster your own imagination and your creative abilities in your alone time, that you deserve to feel beautiful, to feel clean, to feel well fed, and that you deserve to be prioritized. It's going to make a huge difference for you all. Okay, let's read the Laborer of Values card. It is upright. It says self-reliance and self-sufficiency, ability to stand on one's own 2 feet without needing emotional or financial help or a crutch, a workhorse, a practical person, planting seeds for the future, working now towards the long term, taking things slow, cautious. This is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy, houses 1, 5, 9, the 6th house, and the descendant line. Yeah, this feels like you guys' energy. So you may be earth signs in your sun, moon, or rising in your chart, tropical or sidereal, because you guys do feel very practical. And I think that's why this whole meditation thing I'm talking about, it's really hard for you to really implement into your life, because on a physical, tangible level, there's no results you get from it, right? Like when you go to, let's use like when you go to like clean the bedroom, clean the house, you get immediate physical results. The house is cleaner. When you go take your kids to their soccer practice, that's a physical thing that gives physical results. Your kid's getting better at soccer. When you go to sit on your bed in a crisscross position and put on some meditative music and meditate, after that meditation's done, nothing has changed in your physical environment. The bills didn't get paid, you didn't earn more money, the house doesn't look cleaner, right? And so I feel like you guys' practical mindset, it makes it hard for you guys to say, okay, damn it, okay, I'll go and I'll meditate, or I'll prioritize myself and go and do this, because you feel like you're putting off your responsibilities. So again, all I'll say is just test it out for a month. See, because I truly believe it will make a difference physically in your day-to-day life. You're going to feel that things are running smoother. Okay, your mind is going to feel calmer, more able to process everything going on in your environment. It will make a difference, but it is something that it's not immediate results. It's over time. All right, let's look at the oracle cards. We have Saint Dominica, card number 31. Oh, we have 2 lions here too, so it's kind of giving me some Leo energy. We've got Gemini, Leo, earth sign energy here. We have the supermoon, which says emotions are running high. Oh yeah, I feel that in this pile for sure. Oh, and then we have the Indian or Aboriginal person in the rainforest who has like almost this very angry look on his face, like he's ready to attack if he needs to. And then we have Jupiter in Taurus, which says status. Yeah, so, actually first, before I talk about the other oracles, I want to read the Saint card, see who she is, what she's here for. Okay, she sentenced, it says sentenced to, no, this has to be wrong. Saint Dominica, sentenced to the lion's den, she tamed them. Okay, so she went into a lion's den and then the lions didn't eat her. She actually tamed them. That's why I was getting Leo energy from the card, because this reminds me of the Strength card in the tarot deck, which is Leo energy. It shows this woman taming the lions, the inner beast. The meaning of this card is declaration of personal rights. Oh, if that doesn't sum up the whole reading, I don't know what is. You have a personal right to your alone time, to that long shower, to that workout session, to get your nails done, get your hair done, to eat, 3 meals a day, to make time for yourself. You have a personal right to that. And I feel like that's what Spirit's wanting you to prioritize. Your personal rights, prioritizing yourself, and making more alone time for yourself. Emotions are running high. When emotions are running high, the best solution is to what? If 2 people are in an argument, and the emotions are just super high, there's a lot of anger, there's a back and forth. What most therapists say is when it gets to that point, the best thing to do is to walk away from one another and allow some time to just breathe out, okay, before you come back in. Because when the emotions are really high, things are just going to keep escalating. You won't get to a solution. But if you walk away, go into your alone time, then when you come back together, it's like the solution will be clear. That's exactly what this meditation practice is going to serve as for you. It's like it's hard for you to see the solution in the day-to-days because you haven't pulled away from these high emotions, this high level of activity to meditate, to go within. Because once you come back, it's going to be like this. It's going to be so clear. I think with the Jupiter and Taurus card, I feel like a lot of you are really, really focused on, and with the labor of values, there's a lot of things going on that are all about building up your future. Very practical endeavors, whether it be, I'm going studying for college right now, plus I'm also trying to get this certificate, or, I've got the kids enrolled in X, Y, or Z to set them up for their futures. It feels like there's a lot of seed planting going on, where you're planting a lot of seeds, and those seeds require a lot of nurturance in the early stages of what's going on. It's a fact of life, right? A newborn baby requires a lot more attention than a 30-year-old son or daughter does. So, and there's nothing we can do about it, So I totally get that the stage of life you're at, with whatever it is I'm touching on here, is a chaotic stage. It does require a lot of time and attention. But there are ways to help create peace in that environment. And also Spirit's wanting you to ask yourself how much of these endeavors you're doing for a real meaningful reason and purpose versus a more superficial or status-oriented meaning or purpose. Because there's some things in your environment that I do feel like could be plucked out, aren't necessary, okay? Shouldn't really be on the priority list. Feels like you're spreading yourself a little bit thin, trying to put all of your eggs in all the different baskets that exist. I do think there are some things that could be cut away. Well, maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe the kids don't need to be enrolled in that. Maybe I don't need to, just to help out. The things that are purely superficial, have no emotional resonance, don't provide any sort of internal fulfillment, aren't really for the right reasons, aren't meaningful, pluck those away, that way you have more energy to put into the things that matter, because that's really what you want to grow strong. If we have one tree that we are planting and focusing on growing, it's going to get really, really big and strong because it's going to have all of our time and attention. Versus if we plant, let's say 30 trees all at the same time, they might not all, we can get them strong and big, but probably not as strong and big as if we just put our energy and focus on that one tree. So focus on how many things you're wanting to plant really, which ones really, really deserve your time and attention, and which ones aren't worth it in the long run, are taking you away from the things that matter, okay? And this card here, this is kind of giving me the animalistic vibe of the Leo card. And both of these cards actually are touching on kind of training the inner animal, figuring out how to calm, how to pacify that animalistic side within us, how to keep it happy and nurtured so that it doesn't overtake us, overpower our energy. So it's not about rejecting it or hiding it or locking it away, but it's about figuring out how to care for that more animalistic side to ourselves, how to keep it happy. I think a lot of you need more time outside and out in nature, which can be very meditative in and of itself. Just sitting outside on a blanket can do wonders for the mind and for your own energy. And I know I brought up gardening. We've been talking about planting a lot too. I feel like for you all, nature really is a powerful source of energy for you, really puts you in a meditative state, helps calm you, helps relax you. And so make more time for that if you can. So anyways, I'm going to leave you guys here. Let me know below what you thought of the reading, what the heck is going on in you guys' hectic, crazy lives. I feel for you, I really do. But I look forward to seeing you all in next week's Pick a Card reading. Love you guys. Bye. Hey Group 4, welcome to your reading. Can't wait to see what Spirit wants to say to you, what area of life you need to focus on and commit to at this time. You all actually had 2 extra cards compared to the other groups. There was some cards from some other decks that wanted to come out for you, so your pile's a bit larger than the rest, and I'm interested to see what that's all about. But let's start by looking at the card topper you all gravitated towards. It's like a beautiful galaxy orb with this light coming out of the top, just gorgeous. On the back, it says, truth. See your light, know your power, have the courage to walk your truth. Wow, sounds like this is about authenticity for you all, focusing on exuding is what I want to say, authenticity in your everyday life, in all aspects. For you, I feel like this goes beyond just one particular area of life or focus. It feels like it's supposed to permeate every aspect of your life. Am I being authentic? How can I be more authentic? And this isn't just in how you present yourself to the world, how you dress, what you say online. I feel like this also has a lot to do with conversations with people, refraining from manipulation, even if it's manipulation with the intention of furthering the good for others, right? I feel like these are areas of life that Spirit's wanting you to rethink. You know, where am I kind of inserting myself into things that don't really align with me and aren't really a part of me or my purpose? How can I express my integrity in a way that feels good for myself and for others? How much do I need to expose and how much is okay to hide? And what's the difference between hiding something, concealing something, and flat out lying about something? I see a lot of questioning, you know, between these two things, because it is true, we aren't obligated to share everything with everyone. Of course not. So there are certain things that are kept hidden about ourselves from other people. It all depends on the relationship you have with the person, the context of the situation. And of course, there are moments where maybe we are put in a position where we have to fudge the truth a bit or lie about something in order to protect. Okay, I'd like to say that wasn't the case, but you know, sometimes with our own kids, for example, our kids may ask us questions that we know they're not at the age to know the real answer to. So what do? We make up things. How are babies created? Oh, well, you know, the stork comes and drops the baby off, and that's that. So there are times in our lives where I guess we do kind of have to be creative with the truth. Speak in metaphors, right? Speak in symbols. But there's also areas in our life where we resort to lying about something when there actually was an alternative option that would have been better. Or it could even be some of you could even have the opposite problem, maybe a mixture of both. The opposite problem being that you do feel like everyone is obligated to know every aspect of you. You do feel like you are obligated to share certain things with certain people, that maybe that's actually causing more problems. You know, you feel like, well, I'm doing the right thing, right? Because I'm being honest, but maybe in those certain cases, the right answer would have been to refrain, you know, maybe not open up about that. Maybe that person hasn't earned your trust in that sense. Maybe this truth wasn't yours to share, but was on behalf of someone else. So it's a very complicated, complex matter, this whole truth thing. And I feel like you guys, Spirit's really wanting you to think through these things that I've been talking about and prioritize that at this time. What does truth mean to me? How can I be authentic? I don't want to be a fake person, but how can I be authentic while still protecting my own personal boundaries, my relationships? How does that work? What does this mean? That's kind of what I see you guys walking through at this time. And I also am hearing from Spirit that there have been some complicated situations that you've been thrust into over the past few months because of this learning stage you're in. It's almost like Spirit's like, okay, now it's time for them to kind of learn truth or contemplate their idea of truth and authenticity. So let's go ahead and push them into this complicated little mess over here. That way they can kind of experience that, and it will help spark these sort of thoughts, because this is where your soul is yearning to grow. And you know, the North and South nodes right now are in Gemini and Sagittarius, which is all kind of about this whole truth concept I've been talking about. So there might have been some complications with friendships, with certain siblings or family members and it's been a bit overwhelming for you. You can hasten this whole process if you choose right now to kind of focus on contemplating this. Have some conversations with people. Really ask for their advice. Like, okay, in this situation, what should I have done? Should I have lied? Should I have said this? Should I have done that? Just to get their feedback. And try not to be defensive about it either. It's okay. We all make mistakes in regards to the truth, right? There's things that maybe we believed years ago that now we believe something totally different. So at any given day, we can feel that something's the truth, and then fast forward 2 years later, and now that's no longer what we consider to be our truth or the truth. Like, there's always a shifting and a changing going on. So it's not anything to feel like, oh, what was I going to say? To feel like you are lesser than because of these mistakes, or that you need to defend yourself. You need to explain why you did this, that, or the other. Sometimes it's okay to just say, look, I got it wrong. I thought I was doing the best thing by saying X, Y, or Z, or presenting myself this way. I was really on, that's what I was trying to do. That was my intentions. But okay, I get it that I screwed up. I could have done better if I did this, that, or the other, okay? Because I do feel a lot of talkative sort of energy through text or online or on the phone or even in person. It's complicated. I'll give you that. It is complicated. Yep, look at that. We've got the South Node in Gemini in the 6th house. So yeah, the South Node is about our past. It's about what we are familiar with, what we have kind of come from, what comes naturally to us, because it's just been around us all the time. That's the South Node. Gemini is it can be known to be a bit gossipy, okay? Kind of like wanting to share information and being very kind of open with that. Like, oh, well, I learned this from that person. Did you know this person told me that? And that person told me this. It can also be a bit flip-floppy, to where you'll hear something from one perspective on the situation and you'll think, okay, that must be true. But then you'll hear another perspective on the situation and that sounds true too. So how can these both be true? Like, what the heck? So I feel like I don't want to say it's your comfort zone. I feel like you grew up around this sort of energy. Maybe your parents have strong Gemini energy, or your friends or your siblings, and you kind of grew up around this energy of kind of sharing everything, maybe kind of gossiping or kind of exposing other people's secrets or things that they didn't really want shared. And it feels like it all came with this backing of, well, but we're doing this to help them. We're trying to help the situation by interfering here or interfering there. So then it's a good thing, right? Because we're doing it with good intentions. We're not doing it with malice. That's what I feel like you were kind of blanketed in. Your subconscious was growing up and as a kid. And I think it was, there's good and bad to everything, right? And I think it was good that you did at least, you do have the ability to open up, to share things. That's good. Gemini gives us that ability. Gemini doesn't hold too much within. It's comfortable kind of sharing things, exposing things, opening up about things. That's really, really good. But now I feel like you are kind of creating some boundaries. And okay, maybe it's not always good to share this or always good to open up about that. Maybe I shouldn't feel like I'm obligated to jump in the middle of this situation and interfere or help out. Maybe I shouldn't feel obligated to share certain parts of myself with certain people. Okay, so, and the 6th house here, which came up in the die, it's about enemies, hidden enemies. It's also about work life, okay? Our life as an employee to others. So, yeah, I feel like there have been some friendships, or maybe not even friendships, people, coworkers, employees that have kind of, either you've been stuck in the middle of their situations that you really shouldn't have been, like feeling guilt or somehow like you needed to be involved, or they could have kind of exposed themselves as people who really didn't have your best interest at heart, and that could have been difficult for you. So in your work life, maybe someone tattled on you for something, or maybe you tattled on someone else for something wrong that they did, a rule that they broke, and somehow you ended up being the one that got punished, like weird stuff like that, where you look back and say, well, I thought I did the right thing by sharing that person did the wrong thing, but was that actually wrong for me to do? I don't understand. I feel like you guys are very confused, but it's good. What Spirit's wanting me to say is that this is good. This is exactly where Spirit wants you to be at this time, is confused about these previous beliefs you have had about authenticity, truth, so that you could start reforming your own ideas, so that you weren't just still living in the ideas that were indoctrinated into you from a young age. So if you guys are confused as hell right now, then good. You guys are doing the right thing, okay? So let that alleviate you a little bit if that's been bugging you or worrying you. You're supposed to be confused. Being confused means that your mind is now kind of open and you are willing to reconsider other ideas, other values, other thought patterns, new ways of doing things. That's fantastic. Of course, it'll take you a bit to get there, to discover what your truth is, what feels right to you. But you're on the right path, all right? So let's look at some of the tarot cards, get more into the reading. We have stage 9 of mentality. We have the Emperor in reverse. This is Aries energy. And then we have the 9 of Wands. We have the Queen of Cups, water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. That's upright. We also have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. This is earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Wow, you guys, that is crazy. We have the Emperor reversed again. That's insane. From 2 totally different tarot decks, the Emperor coming out from each one is already odd enough, but then the fact that they both came out reversed is insane. So already we definitely have Aries energy in the situation. So for a lot of you, what I'm talking about could involve an Aries person. Maybe you're the Aries person. Yeah, I feel like that's really all I need to say about that. But I guess that it doesn't have to be an Aries person for all of you. It could be a father figure that's involved. The Emperor can represent that, or some sort of male boss or authority figure, or it could be all 3, okay? So let me think about where I want to start here, because we've got a lot of reversals. Let's read the stage 9 of mentality card, okay? And it is in reverse. It says, not fully happy yet, but not in as much pain and grief as before. Beginning to see the light, finally getting some rest and peace, gaining a bit of positivity or positive outlook after a really dark and depressing period, regaining a sense of control over one's life, ready to get out of bed. And this card is associated with Gemini, Mars and Gemini in the 12th house. So it's interesting that this card talks about regaining a sense of control over one's life, because the Emperor upright represents that sense of control that we are able to have over our own lives, feeling like we've got everything handled. It is all under control. We know how to delegate and take care of our responsibilities. We feel powerful. We feel strong. But in your case, it's reversed in both of these situations. So, and with all this Gemini energy, I feel like what Spirit's wanting to say to you is that you are, your own personal life is becoming very out of balance, unorganized, and out of control, because you're spending more energy than you realize trying to interfere or manipulate or help with conversations and relationships of other people in your life that you love, but really it doesn't have anything to do with you. Like maybe your best friend is fighting with another friend of you guys. Neither of them are mad at you, but the 2 of them are fighting. And you're investing a lot of energy in trying to help repair. I don't know what to do. Let me talk to them and then I'll talk to them. Or with family, like maybe you've got a brother or sister fighting with mom or dad, and it's between them, but you feel so much pain for the both of them. You know, you want to help them understand each other, that you're like, maybe if I jump in and have some conversations with each one, it will help. What Spirit's saying is a lot of your own personal energy is being wasted, and a lot of you're losing control over your own life, the things that are supposed to be under your domain of authority, because you are leaving your personal palace, your personal realm, you know, whatever you're kind of the emperor of. You're walking away from that to go tend to other people's palaces, other people's realms. So it's time to focus on, the truth, like the card says. How can you be authentic in a way that doesn't hurt you or other people? When are you truly obligated to share things and when are you not? When does sharing things actually end up making things more complicated, make people lose trust in you? And when does sharing things actually gain you the confidence and trust of others? Who's actually worthy of knowing this, that, or the other about you or other people, and who's not? Is it really my right to ever speak on behalf of other people? Or should I leave that to them to speak up for themselves? So all of this has gotten really complicated. I'm seeing quite a big knot for you guys. And my heart goes out to you because I know how stressful that can be, like interpersonal relationships and the entanglements and things that we can get into. Right now, you are prioritizing, the Queen of Cups is upright, which is good, but Queen of Pentacles is reversed. So I feel like you've really become almost like the psychologist or the counselor to a lot of people in your personal life, or you're putting yourself in that position. You know, maybe it makes you feel good to feel like you're helping in some way. So you feel very open emotionally, which is good, but your practical day-to-day responsibilities, the things under your domain of control, the physical, tangible things that really do matter are being neglected so that you can go around and serve the emotions of these other people. And there has to be a balance. Not only that, with the Nine of Wands talks about a person who has gone through many, many battles in life, is very wounded, needs time to recover. And because they are so aware of how battle works, they're aware that there are enemies out there, they've kind of set up this wall of defense because they know, like, it's stupid not to have a wall of defense up. I've got to have a wall up. Like, I've lived enough life to know how wars work, right? So they set up a wall of defense for themselves so that they can rest a bit. I feel like you guys need to set up a wall. There needs to be a little bit of a wall. This Gemini energy can get complicated if it just flows unfiltered to everyone and anyone. And even the emotions, just putting yourself out there emotionally so often. There needs to be a boundary line, okay? So you've got to start thinking about what Spirit wants you to do is start thinking about what sort of boundaries need to be set in terms of your conversations, the truth, secrets, hidden agendas, authenticity, all this stuff. But also there's some wounding that's gone on in your own life. I think as a child probably, but it doesn't have to be. Most of our wounds, unfortunately, come through childhood. That seems to be a theme we touch on a lot here, right? There was a wounding in your childhood where you didn't feel like there was a person around you that could be emotionally available to your needs, okay? And that really hurt you guys because you do feel like such emotional, deep, empathetic people. So to not have that as a child, a particular parent maybe, that you could open up to, that you could cry to, that was going to give you the affection that you needed, that would emotionally nurture you, really hurt. It really hurts. And so now I see that in adulthood, you are trying to make up for that lack, overcompensate for it, or heal your own inner child by giving that emotional love and nurturance out to everyone else in your life. Almost like, I don't want anyone to feel the way I felt when I was little. So I'm going to make sure that I'm always emotionally available to everyone about anything they need, any advice, any guidance, any help. When we do that with people, which it is good to be emotionally available to others. But what happens is you really have no boundaries. So I feel like people are sharing a lot more with you than what is technically healthy for you or the other people involved. You know, for example, if a mom and a sibling are fighting, or a dad and a sibling are fighting, it probably isn't good for that parent to come to you and talk crap about your sibling, okay? Because like you're kind of involved with both, right? I see a lot of complicated stuff like that going on, where you walk away from these conversations feeling good that you were emotionally there for that person who needed it, but also having these complicated, icky feelings or a sense of like guilt because you didn't really want to hear all that stuff that they said. So this comes from you trying to almost rewrite history in a way, do for others what no one did for you. And I think that's good. This is something powerful that you do have. This is an asset of yours, this emotional availability. Don't let it turn into something negative by just letting it flow out everywhere on everything. There does need to be boundaries. There needs to be limits, okay, in what others share with you and what you share with others. And I feel like that's what you're learning and walking through at this time. Things will be okay in the end. I do see with the stage 9 of mentality card, for some of you, a relationship could have completely broken down because of this. Maybe someone felt betrayed by you, or you felt betrayed by them. And you really, I do see that you had the best of intentions in mind. If If it was a situation where someone felt betrayed by you, I see that you had the best of intentions in mind with what you did. And that's what hurts the most. You feel like you're being punished for trying to do the right thing. And the other person or people in this situation have assumed that you had bad intentions. So it's like, how do I explain to them that I didn't? So this wall of pain that's up in this 9 of Wands card, and I think I talked about this earlier when we were doing the topper, get a little bit more vulnerable with the person in this situation. It's okay to, sometimes even when we have the purest of intentions, we had no malintentions, even then we can sometimes do something wrong and hurt someone. We can even then, screw up. And so we still need to come back and apologize without defensiveness for what we did, even if it was by accident. For example, a drunk person doesn't get into their car and drive home with the intention of killing anyone. They don't. That drunk person gets in their car thinking, no, I'll make it home, it'll be fine. They don't get in the car to go off and kill someone. But it happens sometimes. And when that happens, it doesn't really matter if their intention was to kill someone or not. They did. So now they just need to apologize and address it and pay for whatever they've done. Sometimes I feel like we can get defensive and want to explain our intentions. Well, no, I don't need to apologize because my intentions were to do good. I was trying to do the right thing. So what are you wanting me to apologize for? Sometimes it's just, I need you to apologize for hurting me. That's all. I need you to understand. I want you to regret what you did, regret that you hurt me. The drunk driver didn't intend on killing anyone, but he did. He should hopefully regret that he got in the car and drove drunk. So that will help a lot of the situations you're going through at this time. If you can try and be as defensiveless as possible and to be okay with the fact that everyone makes mistakes in regards to this truth energy I've been talking about. It's impossible for everyone to get it right, especially when you're in some sort of complicated, messy situation. Like you're going to screw up from time to time. So I feel like it's good to let yourself be okay with that. Be okay with the fact that maybe I didn't do the right thing here, or maybe I messed up this here. How can I adjust this, do better at that? Okay, and I don't want this to feel like a lecture for you guys at all. I hope it's not coming across like that. I've been in these sort of situations plenty of times, and I've screwed up plenty of times. And I was in more pain during the moments when I was trying to deny that I had taken the wrong route or wrong direction than in the moments when I finally, was able to just say, okay, yeah, next time I would do it differently. Next time, if I could rewind time, I would do this. But I didn't know that then when I did it. And I'm just a human and I do screw up and my emotions are complicated. So sometimes just admitting that, getting vulnerable with someone and just admitting that, yes, I make mistakes, can be all that's needed to help alleviate things. So for those of you who are still kind of recovering from a relationship loss that really hurt you, then that would be, my advice for you all. And you guys can take it if you want, but of course you don't have to. This is something you guys are walking through. It's a part of your journey to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So let's look at the oracle cards here. All right, we have Saint Felix, card number 35. We have full moon in Scorpio. It says it's time to release the negativity. Oh, then we have the kid getting bullied at school, little redhead kid. Looks like an Aries kid. Kind of like I'm getting the energy of the Emperor from that card. Then we have Mars and Aries. Holy crap, you guys. So much Aries energy and Scorpio energy. Scorpio and Aries are both ruled by the planet Mars, which is the planet of war, of aggression. He is the army soldier that goes out and fights the battles. So, okay, let's talk about this impulsiveness card. This and Gemini, which is a strong energy here too, can be very, very impulsive, wants to act now rather than later. And a lot of times in regards to the truth, authenticity, integrity, secrets, gossiping that's gone on around you or whatever, we can have a tendency to become very impulsive with what do I do next? We feel like we have to act on it right then in that moment. If we don't act on it immediately, if we put it off, we must have done something wrong. So in complicated situations, we can want to act right then and there. Whereas it's the more mature people, think about people you've seen in film and books and TV that are touted as wise people. Like the first one that comes to mind is Dumbledore from the first Harry Potter. They changed him after the first Harry Potter, and I didn't really like him after that. But Dumbledore from the first Harry Potter movie, he is considered very wise. The movie doesn't even need to tell you that for you to get that vibe from him. Is he impulsive? No. He's not at all, because part of being wise is kind of understanding that time heals a lot of things. A lot of the time we don't need to take action on every single thing that happens. Wise people, people who have lived a lot of life, understand that a lot of times non-action, putting off action, kind of waiting to see how things work themselves out is what's best, is the answer to what's going on. And a lot of times once we allow a little bit of time, everything kind of falls into place. And then we can more easily see like, okay, now I need to act on this, or now I need to do that. Impulsiveness is kind of associated with immaturity, with a younger sort of energy, something that's not quite as wise, because that's what younger people tend to do. We tend to be impulsive. We see a problem, we want to react immediately. We got to do something now. What if something bad happens? People who have lived a long life know that time often takes care of things. We don't need to act on all the information that we are receiving. So I feel like there's an element of impulsiveness here underlying what's been going on in your life lately that's just adding to the chaos. It's causing more problems where you may feel like, oh, well, I'm acting quickly, which is a good thing. You know, that I'm sharing this quickly, that I'm opening up with this quickly, that I'm taking action. That's a good thing. That means that I care about this stuff, that it's important to me. So of course I'm going to take action. Well, what Spirit's saying here in these cases is actually the best answer for a lot of this stuff is to give it more time before acting on it. Give everything a bit more time. I remember when I used to work at the bank, I started giving myself a new rule because there was some complicated stuff going on at work that was, I guess, upsetting to me is the best way to put it. There was some stuff going on that wasn't quite right, okay? And so I wanted to, and it happened quite a bit, okay? And so what would happen is I would get so angry or anxious or upset or hurt that I would think, okay, I'm gonna write my boss an email about this because this is, or sometimes it would just be my own paranoia about something too. So I'd start writing my boss an email and then I would send it. And then I noticed in most of those situations, in retrospect, like maybe even sometimes the next day, I would think it would have been better if I didn't send that email. The emails were always like, boss, this is going on with me at work and I need help figuring this out. I feel that this was unfair or blah, 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 and I need your help. So it was always going to the boss, trying to get help with something. And most of the times before my boss even read the email, the situation had resolved itself. Now this happened when I first started working at the bank. I was young. And so I learned after the first couple times, you know what, from now on, if I feel like writing an email to my boss, I'll let myself get it all typed up because this pent up energy, I've got to put it out somewhere. So I'll get the whole email typed up, but I'm going to make myself not send the email until at least the next day. So I would get the email typed up and then I would just save it in my drafts. I would get all that off my chest, made me feel better, knowing that, you know what, if I still needed to send that email tomorrow, I already had it ready to go. And you know what happened every single time? I never sent the email. I never had to send it. Either once I got home from work and slept on it, I felt differently about it the next day, or the situation worked itself out. Anyway, I never had to send it. Okay, so impulsivity sometimes leads to more negative situations than it solves. So I feel like that is a trait that Spirit's wanting you to kind of adopt in all of this. Restraint over the impulsivity, forcing yourself to restrain. Maybe typing up the email if you need to, because I understand sometimes we need to have some sort of outlet or channel for stressful, anxious energy. So type up the email, get the text message ready, but don't actually send it. Give yourself 24 hours, just a day, before you make that phone call or send that, just to see, because a whole day makes a big difference. You'd be surprised. Okay, I want to see what the saint is for here. So let's go to 35. Saint Felix. Okay, he is the patron saint of beggars, and he was the model of humbleness and tenacity. And what this card signifies is awarded steadfastness and realization of small projects. Interesting. So it sounds like Saint Felix is here to help you realize or accomplish small projects, not the big stuff. So I feel like some of you may be really getting focused on the big picture, like connecting a lot of dots that you can't really connect yet. That might be what's leading to the impulsivity. Like, well, but if I don't do this right now, then it could lead to that, and that could lead to that, and this could lead to that, and 20 years from now, I could be here. So you're zooming out on the big picture of things, but it's a false big picture. It's like worst case scenario big picture. And it's causing you to react very quickly and hastily to the things going on in your environment. And what St. Felix actually wants to help you with is focusing on the small picture, not connecting these dots to other dots in the future that we haven't gotten to yet, but just dealing with this right here and nothing more. How are we going to handle this situation? Knowing that it's not connected to anything else from the past nor the future, and it's just right here, right now. It will help keep things from getting so complicated, because there may have been certain things that you shared or acted on, not necessarily because that actual thing was so terrible or so bad, but because of a fear that you had that, oh my God, if I don't act on this right now, it could lead to that, which could lead to that, and like kind of predicting these worst case scenarios, okay? So Spirit's wanting you to take action based on just the here and now, not connecting the dots or predicting the future or anything like that. Look at the small picture, what's around you. This full moon in Scorpio, it's time to release negativity. Scorpio is about our entanglements, our very intimate relationships with shared resources, where things are very intertwined, intermingled, energies are shared, resources are shared. So these are the deep aspects of a relationship. This is like about that friend that knows everything about you, your spouse that knows everything about you, that you guys share a household, children together. It's even about like debts, entanglements you have with banks or other people, with your assets, your money, your finances. And so with the full moon in Scorpio saying it's time to release the negativity, Spirit's wanting you to take a hard look at these entanglements and try and determine which aspects of these entanglements just don't serve you or anyone. What sort of actions are good for you, which ones aren't? What's okay to share with others and what's okay to have boundaries with, right? Scorpio doesn't really have boundaries. It intermingles and intertwines everything. So I feel like for the sake of intimacy, right? And it's good to have intimacy, but it's also good to have personal boundaries as well. So I feel like you guys are learning boundaries in relation to truth, information sharing, thought sharing, that sort of thing, and trying to navigate that. And some of your relationships may have suffered at this time because of the situation Spirit has put you in, or just what's going on in those relationships and you feeling caught up in the middle of a lot of things. I do see here in this card with the little boy being bullied that I do feel like you, maybe in life in general, or maybe just in certain relationships, I feel like you think that you are being either gossiped about by others or looked down upon by others, or that you are being kind of mistreated by others. Other people are allowed to kind of walk on you in a very disrespectful sort of way. But it all feels very complicated because it feels like these are people, these aren't just people that you don't give a crap about. These are people that you really want approval from. You want their attention, you want their love, you want them to like you, but you just don't feel like you can make any progress there. Or at this time, you feel like you're not. You feel like they're looking down on you, they think very little of you, they're mistreating you, and it's a tough spot to be in because it's one thing for a stranger to throw an apple at our head, like just give them the finger and walk off, right? You're never going to see them again, who cares? But if it's like your peers, people that you want approval from, people that you want to share your emotions with, that you want to connect with, damn, does that hurt? Does that really, really suck? And so I can see that that's kind of how some of you are feeling in the midst of all of this. So I really, really feel for you. But this stage 9 of mentality card reversed is actually a better interpretation than if it was upright. What it's saying here in this card is things are getting is better. It's not as bad as it was before, okay? Emotionally, you're working through some things. And I just want you to also know, I want to remind you that you're supposed to feel confused at this time, but that's a good thing because it shows that your mind is open, all right? A lot is shifting and changing for you in terms of your relationships, but it's going to be for the better. I see you guys realizing a lot of hugely important things in regards to your authenticity, your integrity, and your relationships will improve because of that. all right? And you're going to lead the example for others in a lot of ways as well through the changes that you are making. So best of luck to you on this huge transformation you guys are going through. I get it. Like, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes at this time. I've kind of been there before, but I'm glad to be out of it. But it's all for the better, okay? So I'm thinking of you. I'm sending you lots of power, lots of love, okay? Lots of blessings. And comment below if you would like to connect with me down there. But otherwise, I will see you in next week's Pick a Card reading. Bye, my lovely. Hey, Pile 5, welcome to your reading. Can't wait to see what Spirit has to say to you, what aspect of life you're meant to be focusing on at this time and committing to. So let's start with the card topper you all gravitated towards. It has this circular shape in the middle of this sort of galaxy here. And on the back, it says inner worlds. Your external world is a reflection of your inner world. I love this card when it comes out. It's come out in several of my readings because this is a concept that was like an aha moment for me when I was younger, something I never thought about or even realized, but it is absolutely true. Our external world is a reflection of what's going on inside of us, of what we value, of what we believe we deserve, of how we are feeling at the moment. That's why people who struggle with mental illness, for example, if you look up the signs and symptoms of probably most mental illnesses, it's going to talk about the household, what the house looks like, what the sleep schedule looks like, what the person's grooming looks like. Because when our internal world and our mental health is off, some of the first signs and symptoms that others can recognize is in our external reality because it's a reflection of what's going on. But sometimes we think that unless it's, oh, we don't have a mental illness, so for us, that doesn't mean anything. Just because my hygiene isn't that great or my health isn't that great doesn't mean that there's anything going on psychologically with me. Like just because my closet's a complete wreck, no, the two aren't related. My closet's a wreck because my life's busy or, I've got a lot of children, so of course the house is a mess or whatever. We sometimes think that there's a logical reason or explanation for why we can justify that those two worlds aren't connected. But the reality is they really are. And we can alleviate one by taking care of the other. It's like this cyclical sort of thing. If we can take care of our external world, it also helps heal our internal world. Our mental health improves as our external world gets improved. Or we can do it in the reverse. We can start by taking care of the mental health, the inner world, and all of a sudden the outside world seems to fall into place. But the two are deeply connected. And so I feel like at this time, that's what Spirit's wanting you to focus on, this concept of the internal world and the external world, and understanding their connection and starting to notice things. Notice how you feel when your external world looks a particular way. Notice what changes happen in your external world because you're feeling a certain way. Kind of look at those patterns and connect those dots. But we'll get in more into the reading as we roll the die and look through the tarot. But I think for a lot of you, this is about mental health, but also your private life, your home life. Who you are at home, what your home looks like, how your home feels to you. So not necessarily your public life, career life, more so those private moments and tending to your home life. Okay, we have Neptune in Sagittarius in the 8th house. So the 8th house is a very private house. It's the house of death and transformation. It's the house of our most intimate, sort of partnerships, our most intimate experiences. And yeah, just the parts of our lives that are just very intimate, not shared with just anyone and everyone. Now with Neptune here, Neptune is about fantasy, escape, illusion. Neptune can also be associated with mental health issues because when we have a mental health issue, it's hard for us to see reality for what it is. We can be tricked or duped into seeing something else instead, not understanding it. And Sagittarius is a very philosophical energy. It's not I wouldn't describe Sagittarius as a practical energy. It's more about what's the higher meaning of all of this? What's the philosophical view of all of this? The 8th house is also the house of psychology, of uncovering secrets behind things, uprooting things. So I think for a lot of you, Spirit's actually urging you at this time in your life to focus on your mental health through therapy, psychology, medication, if it's what your doctor prescribes for you, to help you kind of see things for what they are, to help you navigate things a bit better. For some of you, even a diet change could really help. There could be things that you're allergic to that are affecting your internal health, your mental health. And I think Spirit's also wanting you to look at things from more of a philosophical aspect, kind of like what I was touching on in the beginning here with this card. You know, we can say, it can be easy for us to say, no, the inner and outer worlds aren't connected, because that is a very philosophical concept, right? No, I have a logical explanation for why this is like that. Well, at this time, Spirit's wanting you to go more into the spiritual and philosophical meaning behind things, kind of uncover, look into the secrets and mysteries of these things. Turn the illusion, like get rid of this illusion and find the reality behind it. Find what areas of your life you are allowing yourself to elude you or be an illusion to you. Like, where are the illusions that I'm not seeing? What have I been duped by? What am I not seeing for what it really is? What am I trying to escape from? Like, what am I trying to run away from? I don't want to. Like, the 8th house does not escape and run away from the darkness, from its fears, from its psychology. The 8th house is like, hell no, I'm uncovering it. I'm digging these graves. I'm getting into this. So, yeah, just getting really, really intimate with yourself in this sense. Getting intimate with your shadow side, your darkness, the aspects of yourself that drive you subconsciously, and what it all means and how it's all connected. Let's take a look at the tarot cards now. All right, we have level 12, the wait list. Wow. And then we have the moon. That's Pisces energy. We have the 10 of cups, beautiful card, the happy home and family, private life. And the 9 of wands. So some of these cards came up in other readings, which is interesting. Yeah, the 10 of cups talks about home life, emotional fulfillment and happiness in your home life and private life. 10 of cups is not something the world sees, so it's not our public self or public persona. This is our private life, our intimate personal life in our home. So I feel like that's what really needs your focus and attention at this time. And not just home life and private life. The 4th house in astrology, which rules that area of our life, is also about our roots, our psychology, our own childhood from our past. It's about our past, our ancestry, karmic cycles. So that's what really needs your focus. I feel like there have been repetitive patterns, karmic cycles through your family ancestral line that you notice, but you almost chuck it off as coincidental, or no, it's not really connected. Okay, and this is the moment for you where Spirit's really wanting you to locate those connections, to understand them. You know, maybe there's a pattern of divorce. Maybe there's a pattern of affairs. Maybe there's a pattern of sibling rivalry. Maybe there's a pattern of disorganization. Maybe there's a pattern of mental health. Whatever it is, there's a connected pattern, and there is meaning to that. Like, you have been indoctrinated into certain karmic cycles that you can help break if you recognize them, and Spirit's wanting you to do that. The moon card is all about going into the darkness, a journey through the darkness, revealing the secrets, shedding light on the secrets, walking through this journey despite the fear that it may give you, despite the emotional pain you may have to dive into to accomplish it. It is worth it. And this also is a card that talks about mental health. So I feel like a lot, for those of you who chose this pile, your mental health is suffering in some way, whether that's minor or major. It is, and it deserves your attention, and that's where Spirit wants you to focus at this time. The 9 of wands is a card that's about a really long journey that a man has been on, and he's fought many battles in this journey, and he has a wall, a defensive wall that he's put up, because he's like, I'm not going to get hurt again. Screw that. Like, I'm going to build this wall, that way I'm protected, and that way I can just heal from my wounds and, you know, move on with my life. So I feel like for some of you, there was this sort of wall put up to your emotions, like almost like you subconsciously chose to keep yourself blind to these connections, you know, that, oh, my inner world is a reflection of the outer, or there's karmic cycles in my family that are repeating that I need to dive into and deal with. Maybe this is going on in my life because my mental health is suffering. It almost feels like you have chosen to kind of turn a blind eye to these things, like build up this wall to separate you from it, because you're worried about how painful and scary, awkward, weird that journey might be for you. It's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. So Spirit's really urging you to take a courageous step in your life right now at this time in regards to these connections, your psychology, your subconscious, your mental health. Because I get that it's scary. You know, it's not a fun journey to go on. There's definitely, you know, you receive the payoff for it in the end, but definitely not in the moment. And this isn't something that you necessarily receive a physical, tangible payoff from. It's not like when you work your ass off to get a college degree and you immediately at the end get that college degree and you're able to get a high-paying job that results in money in your bank account and the things you want to buy. So you get this physical, tangible payoff that helps push you through that difficult journey of studying and passing tests in college. In some things in life, we don't have that physical, tangible payoff like this, the mental health stuff. You know, it's like, it hurts emotionally, it's difficult and dark and scary to go through, and it doesn't, you know, I don't get rewarded for it in the end, tangibly. So it can make us kind of resistant to even do it. In fact, in a lot of cases, this sort of journey actually costs us money to go on, because we have to pay for the therapy, pay for the medication, pay for the books, pay for the diet change or whatever. So it's like, not only is it not a fun journey to go on, it's not fun at all, and I'm going to be broke because of it. Like, screw that. No, I'm just going to keep putting a wall up and just keep going on with my life. So Spirit's like, believe me, we get it, but we promise you that there is going to be a payoff in the end, because all this stuff is connected. The emotional is connected to the tangible. So the mental is connected to the physical. It's all intertwined. It's just, it's a little, it's not as clear cut. Is like, you work 8 hours at a job, you go home with a paycheck at the end, right? It's kind of more between the lines kind of thing. Okay, let's read the waitlist card, which is upright, and this is the, in the tarot, this is, oh my gosh, hold on, blank. This is the Hanged Man. Okay, sorry, my mind went completely blank. I renamed these, but this card is the Hanged Man in the standard tarot. So it says, hanging around, something pending, waiting, philosophical while waiting. I love it. It's got philosophical in there because we've touched on that. Making physical sacrifices for spiritual development. Complete and total patience. Sometimes unwarranted if being too patient with a bad person or situation. Foregoing your physical needs, addictions, or pleasures. Fasting. Having your hands tied within a situation. Going with the flow. This is associated with the water element and the 4th, 8th, and 12th house, which are all these private houses I've been touching on. Okay, interesting. So it touched on, that card actually talked a little bit about addictions and pleasures and how those are connected to mental health issues. So for some of you, you may have this urge to smoke that cigarette, drink that glass of wine every night, or whatever it is, whatever substance it is. And you're kind of staying in denial about the fact that the reason you're feeling that urge to do that is because there are some aspects of your past, your mental health, that have been neglected that you want to escape from. Neptune's all about that escape. So you feel this urge to escape from it, and you do that with that glass of wine, that cigarette, that weed gummy, whatever it is. And if you actually addressed these mental health issues head on, having to sacrifice the physical, yes, to do so, which the card also said, the physical being the money, maybe the time, you're all of a sudden going to no longer have the urge to do those things. You're all of a sudden no longer going to have the urge to reach for those vices or to fall into those bad habits. Like, it'll take care of yourself. You're almost kind of fighting against your own self by kind of getting mad or upset at yourself for the things that you do, but not really addressing the underlying reasons. It's going to be this never-ending, very tense, tiring cycle for you. So Spirit's like, if you can put your all into this 4th, 8th, and 12th house energy and really address it, it's going to clear up so much for you. Like, it'll cost you money in the short term or cost you time in the short term, but the payoff's going to be huge. This is an investment on your entire life. You've got one life to live. Don't you want to live it feeling your best, feeling good, feeling capable, feeling accomplished, feeling successful, feeling happy? Just on your own without the need of anything to make you feel that way? You've got one life. Sacrifice. Who cares about the money, right? Sacrifice that. This is an investment in your future. That's what Spirit is saying in regards to all of this. So let's look at some of the other cards and see what else Spirit wants to say. All right, we have card number 70, St. Philippus. We have full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. Oh, we have this card from the interactive deck. This little girl who looks sad and her family is kind of, they're pointing and laughing at her and making fun of her. Crappy. And then we have the sun in Taurus, which says acquisition. Okay, so the full moon in Leo, the not letting the pride get in the way, that could be what a lot of this, what is underlining a lot of this for you. Some of you may feel really icky about the word mental health, mental illness, or addiction. That may feel like something that, like, there's just no way you're ever going to allow yourself to identify with that. Like, there's some sort of pride aspect in this that is causing you to be in denial, because it's like, hell no, I'm not going to admit or accept that I'm an addict. I'm not going to accept the fact that I have mental health issues, that I need a psychologist or a counselor. I'm not a crazy person. And I'm saying that in quotes because it's not my view of this, but I do know that a lot of people in society have a negative or icky sort of connotation with these words. And it keeps a lot of people from addressing their issues because they feel too prideful to just say, you know what, I have an addiction issue. You know what, I think my mental health does need to be addressed. You know, to get vulnerable and just admit that. We all have issues, you know, all of us have issues. Everyone has got a different issue. Most of us have multiple. And the best thing we can do is to admit them, to look them in the face and address them head on. But our pride can make that really, really difficult to admit that we have an addiction with something, especially if we have a lot of negative connotations associated with that word. You know, maybe through films, movies, or through other people that we've met with that issue. Sometimes we think that, sometimes we look at a label and associate it with a personality, right? Like we look at a label of, let's say the label of bipolar, and maybe we know one person with bipolar disorder, and it's a person that we don't like. So our brain all of a sudden associates that all people with bipolar disorder are just like this person that I don't like, with that awful personality. And we don't realize that the bipolar disorder does not negate the fact that this person also has their own individual personality. Like, just because you have a particular label doesn't take away your own personal identity. So you can be, for example, an addict, someone addicted to something, that's also really nice, really empathetic, would never steal anything from anyone, would never, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the negative connotations with addiction that we see in TV or online or in cinema. You know, most of the stuff we see with addiction is, you know, this person's homeless because of their addiction. This person's a terrible parent because of their addiction. This person has no teeth because of their addiction. And so then we start thinking that, oh, addiction equals this type of person, when it doesn't. There's a lot of addicts who are really good parents, who manage their day-to-day life, who are high functioning, but still have an addiction. Like, it is what it is, okay? So I think that as you work through, well, the pride thing's gonna be hard for you guys. I can feel that. It's even hard for me to go, I look at the card and it's hard for me to connect to the energy to talk about it, because the card itself almost feels like it's pushing me away, like, go away, okay? So I think the pride thing is just gonna have to be something that works itself out on its own, okay? But if you can start this journey, I'm hoping that this pridefulness, this hurt, ego that you may feel, and having to admit that yes, you do have issues, like we all do, and yeah, they're not all pretty. Some of them are pretty icky, but you know what? We've all got them. It's okay. It'll really help you move along in this journey. Let's read this saint. I want to see what he is all about. So he was a doctor who took vows, and he won a position of high prestige within the church. And what this card signifies when it comes out is a desire to learn and achievement. That's what this should be about for you guys. Don't let your pride get in the way. This should be about your desire to just learn something, okay? Maybe you don't have mental health issues. Maybe you don't have an addiction, right? But what's the hurt in just going on this journey just to see if you can learn something new about it? Reading some books, doing some therapy. In reality, everyone would do well with therapy because we all have issues that a therapist could help with. Everyone. And some of you may be the type who have tried therapy but don't like it because maybe the therapist wants to keep talking about your childhood, wants to get you to cry about your past, and you think, well, no, my past isn't connected to what I'm going through right now. I want to talk about what happened this week that I didn't like. So you know what, screw this, I'm not going. I feel like there's some tension there with therapists in terms of that. So this is about getting into the mindset of, look, I want to learn something new. So why don't I just give it a try? I'll talk to the therapist. I'll tell him or her about my childhood and I'll just see where it leads. So it's about kind of being more open-minded with it and not being so prideful as you walk through your journey. Taking a more curious mindset to all of it and just kind of jumping in the water head first. Now, the Sun and Taurus card, acquisition, does show that you all do seem to be very caught up right now in your day-to-day physical, tangible reality, money, household and finances, accumulation of possessions, like the tangible food, tangible day-to-day life experiences. That's where your ego gets a big boost and gets a big feeling of excitement and joy. It's like, ooh, wow, look at the garden that I created, or look at this, look at the nice new couch I was able to buy. Like I was saving up all year so I could buy this nice couch, or oh, I got recognized at work for my good efforts. Like that's where your Sun is in this physical, tangible, practical world and reality. So I think it makes it difficult. This sort of emotional, psychological stuff feels very foreign to you. And feels very unknown. It doesn't feel comfortable. Whereas other people who may be much more enamored with the emotions, into the emotions and the mystical and philosophical, they don't have the same feelings as you do about going on these dark journeys because everyone's got their own personality. So Spirit's wanting to acknowledge that, look, we know this is not really in your comfort zone, okay? We recognize that. But going on this journey will actually help increase your physical, practical, day-to-day reality in a big way. You don't think it will, you don't think it's connected, but it really seriously is. You're gonna see an increase in your physical abundance by going on this emotional journey. And I also see for a lot of you that there have been, I feel like you, especially with the elders in your life, because everyone at this table here with this little girl are like grandparents, aunts, uncles, parents. They're all elder. You've been made to feel quite small, or you were maybe growing up in comparison to your elders. Or you felt like your elders were better than you. Like they're smarter than me. I'm just dumb. I'm just silly. I'm just goofy. I'm not intelligent. I'm not like they're better than me. Okay. I don't feel like you had an elder in your life who really made you feel like, wow, I've got a lot of potential. I'm really smart. I also don't think you realize how much you craved that, how much the inner child within you craved so badly for someone to tell you that you had potential. Because you did have potential. Oh gosh, I've tried so hard to get through these readings without getting emotional, but there's been some deep stuff that we've talked about today. Yeah, I'm just feeling kind of what that felt like, what your inner child felt like, to not think that they had potential for greatness in their life. So I do think that the elders in your life, the people that you looked up to, you didn't ever get recognition for that. You had no one look at you and say, you know what, you can grow up and do anything. Well, what is it that you want to do when you grow up, honey? Oh, wow, you could definitely do that. Or can you imagine what my daughter, my son's going to grow up to do? They've got so much potential. They're good at this. They're good at that. And God, I'm so sorry. Anyways, I think that's had a big impact on our spirits trying to get me to talk to you about this because they think that that has a big impact on the mental health issues that you're dealing with now, whatever it is, even if it's just like some chaos in your day-to-day life, or not feeling very emotionally fulfilled, or even if it's an actual depression, anxiety, addiction to something. It seems to stem from this idea that you're really nothing but a court jester, just a jokester, not anyone with that could really be, that has a lot of potential. That's kind of the image that I'm seeing of like the court jester, that was like the clown that was hired by the king to just make everyone laugh. He was literally paid to just, and not paid very much, to just kind of make the king laugh whenever he felt like it. Come here, court jester, tell a joke so we can all laugh and let us make fun of you. And so the court jester, that's kind of the purpose that he served, to just be a goofball. People would say, call him dumb or whatever, say he was small-minded, and the only value he felt in his life was in being able to kind of make people giggle and laugh, allow himself to kind of be the laughing stock of the community. So I feel like you guys felt that. It's almost like you accepted the role of the court jester early on, or felt like that was put onto you. And I just want you guys to know that you have a lot of potential. And I just am just really sorry for you that you didn't have anyone look you in the eyes and tell you that, because every kid deserves to be told that, especially by the elders in their life, that they have potential, that there are things they're really, really good at. So, gosh, sorry for getting so emotional, but I'm certain that you guys have things you were very talented at, fantastic creative abilities, or just a way with life that's interesting, a way in seeing things that other people don't see things, that allows you to come up with creative solutions to ideas. Maybe some of you are really, really great at giving people advice in their own personal life and their relationships, motivating people. You guys might be really good at motivating others. You might be really, really good at calming the storms between other people, solving the chaos, or being the strong person in the midst of the chaos. You guys could be really, really good cooks, painters, writers, speakers. There's so many things. And I hope that you guys go on this journey. You deserve it, and are able to look at yourself and see your own potential. Because even if other people aren't in our life to tell us that we have potential, we have the ability to see it in ourselves. And that's what I hope for you most of all, that you know the potential that you have, regardless of your age. Okay? So I love you guys, and I hope this reading really resonated with you. I know it was a bit emotional, okay? But I guess that's all connected to the journey that you're supposed to go on. Don't be afraid of those emotions. Feel them. Sometimes it's very therapeutic to just have a good cry, right? Sometimes just crying it out seems to solve a lot. So yeah, go on this journey. You will not regret it. Comment below if you want to connect with me down there. I want to thank you guys so, so much for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all in next week's Pick a Card. Love you guys. Bye. Hey Pile 6, welcome to your reading. I'm sorry if my eyes look a little bit red. The last pile was super emotional. I literally had to take a bit of a break before I jumped into your pile and try and reset my energies, but it's all been really, really good seeing how different each of the piles are in the messages. So can't wait to see what Spirit has in store for you all, and what area of life or aspect of life they want you to focus on at this time. So let's start by taking a look at the topper you all gravitated towards. I don't know if you can see the design, but there's almost like this stamp or this mandala on the side of the card. And on the back it says fruition. It says, rest assured, your dreams and visions will come to fruition. Okay, so it seems like you guys are really trying to manifest a lot in your life right now, and I feel like Spirit's really wanting you to focus on the present moment, to not get caught up in or freaked out by or anxious about the future, to really just focus on the present, what's here and now around you, and appreciating this moment, being relaxed and knowing that the seeds you planted for your future will come to fruition when the time is right. There's no need to stress about it. It kind of reminds me of the message of the Empress card, which in the tarot, the woman on the Empress card is usually pregnant, because it's all about this message I've been talking about. When a woman is pregnant, gets pregnant, she does what she needs to do to get pregnant. She plants that seed, But then the whole rest of the pregnancy, she just kind of sits back and allows her body or the universe to take over and bring this baby to fruition. It would do her no good to, stress about, well, is the baby going to come? Will the baby come early? Do you think my body's working on the arms this week like it's supposed to? Do you think it's going to, like, it won't do anything at that point? Like, she's already done what she can do. She's planted that seed, and now it's time to just enjoy each moment of the pregnancy. Be in the present moment of the 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, and just enjoy. And I feel like Spirit's wanting you to take on that energy as well, that is the energy of manifestation. To truly manifest, we have to be in a very peaceful, calm, assured belief that we deserve what we're asking for and that we will receive it. That's how we manifest. Knowing we will receive something, stating we've already received it, having thoughts that it's already ours is what brings it to us. The state of anxiety is the opposite of that, because when we're anxious about it, that comes from a belief that we don't deserve it. Maybe we won't get it. It's not ours, right? And so then that brings back more of that energy to us. So let's take a roll of the die to kind of expand on this message and then get into the tarot and oracle cards. All right, we have Uranus in Cancer in the 6th house. So Uranus is kind of this electrifying sort of energy. It gives me like ADHD sort of vibes. It's very kind of like aha moment or poof, bam, wow. Like it's an electric shock to the system, basically. Cancer is the sign of the mother. So for some of you, this could literally be about pregnancy. Maybe you were trying to get pregnant, trying to become a mother, but it could also be about your own nurturing your own self, because we have the 6th house here, which is about the health of the body. So again, that makes me think of pregnancy, but it could also be about anxiety over our current state of health. Maybe some of you are going through some health complications and you're getting into these sort of worst case scenario thoughts about the future. Or maybe you're overly restricting yourself from things because of these worries about, oh, well, if I indulge in this piece of cake, like it could make me, and if I keep doing that, then I'll gain this much weight or whatever. It just feels like there's anxiety in terms of the 6th house stuff. Now, 6th house is also about our life as an employee. So maybe there are worries about, am I just going to be an employee forever? When will I get to be the leader? When will I get to be the one in charge? When am I going to get recognized and promoted? I feel like I'm sacrificing a lot for the team, for the company, or for whatever it is I work in, and not seeing the results of my manifestations, and I'm getting exhausted. So this Uranus energy here, it's a very rebellious sort of energy. It wants to rebel, it gets anxious, it wants to kind of zip out of things in and out quickly. So I feel like Spirit's saying, like, look, no, just sink into the present moment, take on that energy of manifestation. Don't worry so much about rebelling or kind of overcompensating or acting kind of recklessly, doing things hastily. Try and calm the mind. Get in a peaceful mind state in regards to this 6th house stuff, which is these day-to-day responsibilities, your life as an employee, your health, all this. Okay, you are manifesting them, or you will once you get into this more relaxed state about it. Okay, let's look at the tarot cards. We have stage 3 mentality, and it is reversed. Then we have the 6 of Wands reversed, lines up with the die. Yep. 5 of Wands upright, and 7 of Cups. Yeah, for a lot of you, this has to do with some sort of creative endeavor. Like, I want to create something. I want to manifest something. I want to be recognized for something. Why isn't it happening? Why do I keep getting overlooked, bypassed, not getting what I deserve? What the hell is going on? And so Spirit's wanting you to step away from your focus on that and tap more into gratefulness for what you have right now in this moment. Some of you, a really good practice might be to do a daily gratitude list, or have like a gratitude rock stone that you carry with you. Every time you see it or touch it, you think of something to be grateful for, because Spirit's also wanting to applaud you and say that, you know what, not just because there are certain people not recognizing what you've accomplished, not recognizing your efforts, doesn't mean that we haven't noticed. Like, from Spirit's perspective, there's a lot you've done to be proud of. There's a lot you've accomplished. You guys are very successful people. You have a hard time recognizing it in yourself because you put such high standards up there for yourself. But in relation to the norm, like what most of people in society have accomplished or done, you're above that, okay? You guys are very determined people. So Spirit's wanting you to start giving your own self the recognition that others don't. That way you don't feel so reliant on it. And also focusing on this attitude of gratefulness. That's what pulls you into abundance and manifestation. When you feel great about who and where you are right now in this moment, when you can truly appreciate the sights, sounds, tastes, and smells around you in your environment, when you can feel true gratefulness for that comfy bed you sleep in at night, or the clothes that you were able to purchase and put on your body, or the food that you're eating for lunch or dinner, like it makes such a difference. It really, really relaxes the mind and the body. And I also see with the Seven of Cups, you guys are big, big dreamers. But the Seven of Cups, this is about someone who is still in the dream phase of things, okay? So he's dreaming about what it is he wants to go after, what he wants to create, but he hasn't yet taken action on it. These cups up in the sky are not yet a physical, tangible reality for him. He's just in that dream phase. And I feel like you guys' anxiousness, your anxiety, is what separates the dream phase, because you guys have a lot of creativity, I see, in your minds, this Uranus energy, like a very progressive, forward-thinking, like brilliant ideas in your mind. But you're having a hard time manifesting these into everyday realities because of this anxious mindset you get yourself in. So it's like you know exactly what it is you want to do and accomplish. You know that. You can see it clearly up here in these cups, all the different things. I want this sort of house. I want to live here. I want to work here. I want this. I want that. And you just feel like these cups just stay up in the sky, that you never get to bring them down into reality and enjoy them. Spirit saying, look, we're trying to help. The solution is abundance mindset, an attitude of gratefulness, of thankfulness, of recognizing your own accomplishments instead of trying to compete against the crowd, against others to be recognized. Just set a standard for yourself and forget about what others are doing. Don't bother yourself with what others are doing. Don't bother yourself if others are going to recognize you for it or not. You can do it on your own, even if they don't. So let's read the stage 3 mentality card. It's in reverse. It says, healing from pain. Time heals. Doesn't hurt like it used to. Moving on from heartache, healing the heart, forgiveness, letting go of resentment, talking about one's pain in order to heal it, learning a difficult but valuable lesson. This card's associated with Saturn in Libra in the 5th house. So for some of you, there could have been a breakdown of a relationship that you're recovering from, and Spirit's wanting to pull you into this gratefulness mindset to help you heal from that, remembering that even without this person, you have so much still to be grateful for. For some of you, it could have been like a death in the family, like a physical loss like that. For others, a breakup or a divorce. For some of you, it just has to do with being overlooked in general. Maybe someone else at work getting promoted over you when you've been at the company longer, when you've done more, and just not getting it, feeling really, really upset. And so I can see that pain's there, and Spirit's wanting to let you know that if you keep focusing on, well, I'll just do this to get their attention, or I'll accomplish that, or allowing yourself to sink into this anxiety about the future. What if I always feel this way? What if I never recover? What if, it's not going to help pull you out of it. So with this time, they're really wanting you to focus on that thankfulness checklist, being grateful, taking a moment to look around and be like, you know what? I don't have everything, but I have so much here to be grateful for. So many others have it, worse than me. There's so much in my life that I'm happy about, and just being able to take time out of your day to recognize that. Okay, let's look at the oracle cards. We have Saint Katharina, card number 24. We have full moon in Pisces. It says balance spirituality and practicality. Oh, wow. We have this little girl going into this cave. You can see all the skeletons, but look, she's found some sort of treasure chest. That's a good sign, you guys. And then we have more Pisces energy with the Venus in Pisces. And it says submission. All right, so I can see here in this card that there is I feel like a lot of you are overly concerned about your success, your accomplishments, spirits wanting to let you know, look, you're going to get there, okay? You're gonna get there. There's something special just for you, a treasure chest that you are going to locate. And this has to do with you guys' brilliant mind. You guys are meant to be in some sort of industry that requires out-of-the-box thinking, creative solutions or ideas, some sort of niche product, audience, or something, because there's something unique that only you are going to think of, that only you are going to do. So first of all, I do want to, Spirit's wanting to give you advice to not follow the crowd, kind of like what we're talking about here. When you battle against others, compete against others, try and match up with others, that's where you keep losing and losing and failing over and over again. And it's because Spirit's trying to push you in the direction of going it on your own. Forget about others. Don't compete against them. Compete against yourself, because there's some sort of way of thinking or doing things that's very unique to you, that there's no way you could compare and contrast that with the regular everyday person. And if you keep trying to adapt to others so that you can compete against them, you're losing out on what makes you special and unique. And that's what Spirit's wanting to use to bring you abundance, okay? So that's just kind of a separate message in all of this. You need to be in a role or in an industry that allows for you to use your unique way of thinking. Some of you could have ADHD. Some of you could be dyslexic. Some of you could be autistic or on the autism spectrum. I'm just seeing some sort of uniqueness in the way you all think that is really, really special. You see things in a way other people don't. And so if you get in an industry where you can really stand out for that, an industry where you're not supposed to fit into some sort of mold or box, that's where you're going to find your gold. That's where you're going to find it, okay? All right, let's read the Saint card. Let's see what the meaning of this is. Card number 24. Okay, so she suffered torture of the wheel, and she protects mothers. When she comes up, she signifies a female companion and advisor, or having persuasive power. Interesting. So I feel like another piece of advice Spirit's wanting to give you. So we have the Cancer die, plus this female energy in the card, and all the Venus too, is a lot of you need to lean into your divine feminine energy. Specifically, maybe lean into your relationship with your mom. If you have a wife or a girlfriend, lean into that. Because there's some sort of older female in your life that you have a connection to, either emotionally or perhaps it's even through work, someone above you, an elder female above you at work, that relationship needs to be fostered and developed. I feel like this female is going to give you a lot of good advice, a lot of good encouragement, remind you of why you're doing what you're doing, remind you of your potential, okay? So open up, have those conversations with the women in your life that you trust, that you look up to, because that will be a big help for you at this time. Now we have these two cards that are both Pisces energy. This one says balance, spirituality, and practicality. So I feel like a lot of you need to go more into, I feel like right now in your life, you've been viewing things based off of practical and logical sorts of aspects. Like, well, I don't have the label of this at work, and I want the label of that. Or I haven't accomplished X, Y, or Z. So I haven't gotten there yet. That's something else I need to go after. It's what I need to do. I haven't been recognized for this or had success in that. Like these sort of outside world practical aspects, that's how you're measuring kind of what to be grateful for. Like when you do accomplish those outside things, you're very grateful for them. You're glad you got recognized. You're happy you got promoted. You're proud of that. But then you're neglecting the spiritual aspects of your life. The Spirit's wanting you to remember that you chose your particular life before incarnating, that there were certain things that your soul wanted to master, to learn, and to grow in. And for most of us, these soul lessons, actually no, I'm going to say for all of us, the soul lessons that we wanted to go through when incarnating had to do with the emotional, the value systems, like the things that weren't tangible. Maybe you decided, I want to go into this life to understand the value of family, or I want my soul to experience loss and what that feels like. I want my soul to have a life that fosters a lot of empathy within me. So then Spirit or God kind of crafts our life and our circumstances so that our soul can grow in these certain areas, okay? Our soul never comes down in this life to learn about money. It's always about the hidden thing behind it. Like maybe our soul wanted to learn what it meant to have power. You know, money can give us power, or have influence, but it's never just it's not just, we don't come down to get that certain award or promotion or amount of money. It's about the spiritual aspect behind it that our soul is growing in. And so, but a lot of times we as humans, we forget that once we incarnate, and we can become very focused on, well, I need this amount of followers on my Instagram, or I need this amount of money in my bank account to feel accomplished or happy. And we completely forget about the true purpose of why we came down here, which were the spiritual aspects, and being aware of those, keeping track of those, being conscious of them. And so Spirit's wanting you to take more of that sort of outlook or approach in your life. How much has your soul grown and expanded in this life? What important internal lessons have you learned? What's something your soul is learning through hardship? What's something your soul is learning or gaining through the experience of being overlooked? How is that teaching your soul something? Maybe your soul is becoming more empathetic to others who have lost. Maybe your soul is becoming more attentive to those who need attention. But without that experience of loss, of being overlooked, your soul wouldn't have awakened to that. It's once we know what something feels like that we're then able to empathize with others and put out goodness into the world. So try and give yourself credit for the soul accomplishments you have made. Because that's why you're really down here. That's the real reason. That should be put above everything else. Okay? Because I do feel like you guys as souls have accomplished a lot of learning, a lot of growth, but you forget to give it the recognition it deserves. You're overlooking your own accomplishments. So Spirit's saying, like, please start remembering these more important things that you've accomplished. Like, it's great to go after physical abundance, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. But try and tap into the purpose, the spiritual purpose behind everything going on in your life, what it's teaching your soul, what your soul's gaining through it. With the Venus in Pisces card, which says submission, I do think there have been things taken from you, battles that you have lost, competitions that others have outwon you in recently that's really hurt your heart, hurt your ego, whether it be a breakup, someone breaking up with you, someone else getting promoted over you. But Spirit's wanting you to get into this energy of submission. Venus in Pisces, Pisces is about loss. It's about dissolving the ego, looking at everything no longer from a perspective of me, myself, I, but of how everything is ultimately kind of connected, and the universe kind of just flows. I've just got to go with the flow of the universe, just kind of submit and allow life to take me where it needs to. Like, I'll put in the work I need to put in, but the results come from God and from the universe and from what needs to happen. And so I need to just be okay with whatever those results are. Be okay with the fact that I don't have any control over that. I only have control over my own actions, not how others receive them, not whether or not I get recognized for them by others. And it's all part of a bigger plan, okay? So tap into that gratefulness, that thankfulness, the spiritual accomplishments you guys have made, because my God, there's so many. Spirit's here to award you, okay? Spirit's here to help you recognize the achievements you have made in this lifetime and wants you to focus on that aspect of your life. Whether that be forgiveness, learning integrity, learning empathy, practicing generosity, practicing love, unconditional love. What does that mean? These are the things our soul wanted to learn, okay? So don't let the 3D world be in conflict with that. They should be harmonious. The two should be intertwined. You don't have those goals. You deserve success. You deserve those worldly accomplishments. But if you put in your all and you don't get it for whatever reason, just remind yourself there's something spiritual going on here. It was meant for someone else for whatever reason. I'm never going to know. Or maybe I'm supposed to learn something through this failure. Have that sort of attitude. And yeah, just take a moment to be grateful for the life that you have, who you are, what you have done here. And make that the focus. Commit to that sort of attitude for the next few months, okay? I want to thank you guys for coming to this reading. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment down below if you did, and let me know. I'd love to chat with you down there. But I'm going to leave you here, and I will see you guys in next week's Pick a Card reading. Love you guys. Bye.